Chapter 21 10 Conditions. Since we know that this soul attack secret skill is useful to Jian Wushuang, let's ask the Emperor God to give us this secret skill. There might be some problems with this, Ancestor Tian Chen said. How so? Emperor Bai looked over and asked. From what I know, Emperor God Zhuxian is a very selfish person. It took a lot of effort to get that soul attack secret skill, and it is one of his strongest moves. He won't be willing to give it away for free. Ancestor Tian Chen smiled. Dumbass. The eternal chaotic world might cease to exist. He still cares about his secret skills. Emperor Bai's face turned dark. Now that the eternal chaotic world was under threat, experts were sharing their most powerful secret skills and techniques selflessly. Just like the lineage of Star, Jian Wushuang shared the secret skills of Star Palace, which was crazily sought after by everyone participating in the battle. This was not suggested by Emperor Bai. It was initiated by Jian Wushuang and the experts from the lineage of Star. They knew that the secret skills of Star Palace could raise the fighting power of the experts within eternal chaotic world. This gave them a high chance of winning the war. This was a selfless act of commitment by the lineage of Star for the upcoming war. After all, it was no longer a peaceful era like before. Before the eternal chaotic world faced danger, the secret skills of Star Palace was unique to the lineage of Star. Now, they would do anything and everything to increase their chances of winning. If the eternal chaotic world lost the war, every sect and clan would be destroyed, many experts would die. What was the point of selfishly hiding one's secret skill if that happened? Everyone understood this. But this Emperor God Zhuxian, we have yet to ask him whether he will share the secret skill. Let us not judge the situation. I shall go to him personally and ask for it. Where is he now? Jian Wushuang asked. He is within the Red Dragon Sanctuary. You need not go down personally, just ask Red Dragon King to pass on the message, Ancestor Tian Chen said. All right. Jian Wushuang nodded his head. Within one of the 10 sanctuaries, the Red Dragon Sanctuary. Within this sanctuary, Red Dragon King was the leader. In this territory, there was a large island where Emperor God Zhuxian stayed. On the island, there were many servants. There were even 2 Sir Gods there who took orders from Emperor God Zhuxian. Whoosh! A figure appeared on the island. It was the Red Dragon King. Humph! This Emperor God Zhuxian is really relaxed. The Red Dragon King looked down and felt the presence of the Emperor God Zhuxian. Emperor God Zhuxian sat in the middle of a palace. He was admiring the dance of several beautiful ladies. There were many servants serving him. A powerful aura was felt as it isolated the space-time within the island. The Red Dragon King teleported in front of Emperor God Zhuxian in the middle of the palace. When he appeared, everyone apart from Emperor God Zhuxian fainted. Red Dragon King? Emperor God Zhuxian was shocked. He stood up and greeted, "Greetings, Red Dragon Emperor. I am Zhuxian." The Red Dragon King looked at Emperor God Zhuxian. Without a word, he took out a token and broke it. When the token broke, a hazy figure appeared in the middle of the palace. This figure was a consciousness incarnation of Jian Wushuang. Emperor God Zhuxian. Jian Wushuang looked down on Emperor God Zhuxian indifferently. This is. Greeting, Sword Emperor. I am Zhuxian. Emperor God Zhuxian said when looked up and recognized the figure. Emperor God Zhuxian became even more respectful. He was perturbed. The 2 men who appeared in front of him were one of the strongest men in the eternal chaotic world. One of them was ranked 2nd on the Heaven and Earth Supreme ranking list, while the other was ranked 3rd. 2 of these superpowers had appeared in front of him at the same time. It was obvious they were looking for him. How could he not be perturbed? Relax. I am here to ask for your help. I got news that you've got a very powerful soul attack secret skill from the ancient battlefield. This secret skill is very crucial for the Sanctuary Alliance in the battle against the 3 Emperor world. I hope you can give us a copy of the secret skill. Jian Wushuang smiled. Soul attack secret skill? Emperor God Zhuxian turned pale. It was obvious that he was unwilling. This was normal. He had been through all that trouble to get the soul attack secret skill, and it became one of his most powerful techniques. How would he be willing to submit the secret skill? Jian Wushuang took note of his expressions and was not surprised. He continued, the Sanctuary Alliance must have this secret skill. I know that it's not easy to get this secret skill. You can give your conditions. Zhu Xian, Sword Emperor, made himself clear. I'm sure you know what he means. The Red Dragon King said as he looked at Emperor God Zhu Xian. If it were the Red Dragon King, he would not waste time speaking to Emperor God Zhu Xian. Since the Sanctuary Alliance needed this, he would just force him to submit a copy of the secret skill. Unless Emperor God Zhu Xian would rather die, he would have no choice but to submit a copy. Emperor God Zhu Xian took a deep breath. He could deduce that the Sanctuary Alliance would not give up until they had the secret skill. He had no chance against such a powerful organization. Jian Wushuang had already allowed Emperor God Zhu Xian to give his conditions. This was the biggest act of kindness the alliance could give. If he still refused to comply, he knew that he would die. Sword Emperor, I am willing to comply. I do have one condition that I hope that you can approve. Emperor God Zhu Xian said. Name it. Jian Wushuang smiled. I want to have the right to enter Heaven Repairing Palace. Emperor God Zhu Xian said seriously. Heaven Repairing Palace? Jian Wushuang was stunned. He was confused. The Red Dragon King stared at Emperor God Zhu Xian and yelled, how dare you make such a demand? You dare bargain for the right to enter the Heaven Repairing Palace? At the same time, an overbearing aura exploded from the Red Dragon King. Emperor God Zhu Xian felt the aura and trembled. He was sweating profusely. He gritted his teeth and tried his best to resist the aura. Chapter 21:11 Heaven Repairing Palace. Red Dragon King, what is the Heaven Repairing Palace? Jian Wushuang asked. Jian Wushuang had just reached the top ranks of the Sanctuary Alliance. He did not know much. He had never heard of the Heaven Repairing Palace. That palace is a site of opportunity discovered long ago at the ancient Mystery Land, taken by the Sanctuary Alliance immediately, till now, Red Dragon King explained. In the Heaven Repairing Palace lies the opportunity of passage towards the heavens, but at a dear price which even the Alliance cannot bear to pay. Since its discovery, the palace has only been used once. There are 12 seats in the palace, meaning every time it opens only a dozen people are allowed to enter. The last time we opened it, those chosen experts received great benefits. Great Emperor Colored Glaze and Emperor Zhu Qiao themselves attained Great Emperor levels upon entering, the Red Dragon King continued. Oh! Jian Wushuang was shocked. From one occasion 2 great emperors had emerged. This site of opportunity. We did not know much about the palace before we activated it. But after we did, we realized it was not only a site of opportunity, but a land of miracles. Any potential pinnacle emperor god stuck at an ability plateau could easily attain great emperor levels with this palace. Unfortunately, the price to pay for opening the palace is too great. We have not opened it since the first attempt. But with the eternal chaotic world barely hanging on, the Sanctuary Alliance must not get stingy with these affairs. That is why Emperor Bai and I have agreed to activate it once again at a later time, to help our great emperors improve their powers before the battle. Since that decision, the 12 experts entering must be chosen deliberately and carefully. We have made a list of certain emperor gods we want to enter, and the Emperor God Zhu Xian certainly did not make the list, the Red Dragon King said. Jian Wushuang understood. The Heaven Repairing Palace had great potential for pinnacle emperor gods to emerge as great emperor levels. But there were only 12 spots, and all 12 were extremely important. Now, Emperor God Zhu Xian's condition was for the Alliance to give him 1 seat. Zhu Xian, you should know, with your abilities, even if you did enter the palace, the chances of you becoming great emperor are slim to none, Red Dragon King roared. I know, but slim as they are, there is still a chance. If you save a seat for me, not just the soul attack secret skill, I'll give everything I have for the both of you. Emperor God Zhu Xian clenched his fists, his body trembling slightly. He knew his conditions were a bit much. But that was his only way of becoming a great emperor. It was worth him risking his life for, no matter how slim the chances were. Jian Wushuang and Red Dragon King fell quiet. After a period of time, Jian Wushuang finally spoke. The decision of who gets to enter the palace is too big a decision for me alone to decide. I will take this up to Emperor Bai and discuss it with him. I'll keep you updated. Thank you, Sword Emperor. Emperor God Juzian was elated. Jian Wushuang did not accept his offer, but nor did he reject it. Meaning to say, there was still hope. Red Dragon King, don't mind if you wait here for a while. Jian Wushuang glanced at him. Not an issue, the Red Dragon King replied. Jian Wushuang's consciousness incarnation instantly dispersed. On Thunderbolt Island. The Emperor God Juzian is willing to hand over the secret skill, but he wants a seat in the Heaven Repairing Palace, Jian Wushuang said. A seat in the Heaven Repairing Palace? What a funny guy, Ancestor Tian Chen sneered. But it's unexpected. With his own abilities, unless he encountered a miracle, he would never make it to Great Emperor level. The Heaven Repairing Palace is his only chance at that, and he will hold on to it tightly, Emperor Bai laughed. A seat in the palace is no small matter. Maybe it will be possible during other times, but during this period of chaos within the eternal chaotic world, we need the seats for our potential emperor gods to elevate to great emperors. His name is not even in our list. It would be a waste if we handed it to him, Ancestor Tian Chen said. The seats are important, but so is the secret skill. Since this lad has given his conditions, we cannot ignore or pressure him otherwise. Tell him that the seat is his, but he will be sent to the most dangerous frontline against the three emperors' world when the battle breaks out, whether he makes it to great emperor levels or not. If he wishes to gamble, he must also dedicate himself to the Sanctuary Alliance, Emperor Bai said. Agreed, both Jian Wushuang and Ancestor Tian Chen nodded in agreement. So that's that. Since we are on the topic of lists, Wushuang, I would like you to take a look at it as well, Emperor Bai said. With a wave of his hand, a list appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. The list had a couple names, all of which were known emperor gods within the eternal chaotic world. Not only the pinnacle emperor gods had made the list, even those who had not but had enough potential would find their names on it as well. Over 30 names? Jian Wushuang's eyebrows twitched. These are the unconfirmed ones. We have confirmed a few already, like Underworld God, Emperor God Tianling, Purple Moon's Qian Mingzi. Those are the few most likely to reach great emperor levels, Emperor Bai laughed. Jian Wushuang nodded, and began to take a close look at the list. As he scrolled through the names, he recognized many of them, some of which he had even fought against in the past. But there were other names he had never heard of before. Jian Wushuang's gaze locked onto one name. Chapter 21:12 Returning the Favor Emperor God Liu Guang? Jian Wushuang's eyebrows were raised. Hes on the list as well? Yes, Ancestor Tian Chen replied. She may not be the best amongst pinnacle emperor gods, but she has shown great improvement in power over the years. She has potential. Offering her a seat would give her a minimum 20% chance of becoming a great emperor. What's your relationship with her, Wushuang? Emperor Bai asked. It began like this, Jian Wushuang said. The lineage of stars encountered a crisis back then, extreme methods were used. For this I invited Emperor God Liu Guang to take down Deluge Fortress together, along with the Fort Lord. It was a personal favor I asked Liu Guang for. My powers have improved over the years, but not once has she asked me to return the favor. Oh! Emperor Bai nodded. With a wave of his hand, Emperor God Liu Guang's name was removed from the list. Emperor Bai, what is the meaning of this? Jian Wushuang was stunned. Emperor God Liu Guang was already on the list, her ability levels roughly the same as the others, I just didn't know who to pick. Since she has relations with you, you can use this to return the favor, Emperor Bai smiled. Thank you, Emperor Bai. Jian Wushuang was grateful. He did not like to owe others favors, it was circumstance that forced him to. Now he could finally return it. No problem, you are also amongst the top ranks of our Sanctuary Alliance. A word from you is enough to assign 1 or 2 seats on your own. Her name was on the list anyway, Emperor Bai waved his hand. For the other seats, we were not able to reach a consensus despite many meetings. From the looks of it, we need to let them compete for it. A fair fight, not a bad idea, Jian Wushuang nodded. Oh yes, Wushuang, You'll have a seat amongst the dozen entering the heaven-repairing palace as well. Make your preparations. This came as a revelation to Jian Wushuang. Me. Was the purpose of opening the palace not to allow emperor gods become great emperors? He was already at great emperor level, and had been for a long period of time. As if he had read his mind, Emperor Bai could not help but smile. A great emperor would help the Sanctuary Alliance and Eternal Chaotic World tremendously in the upcoming battle, right? What more of a strong great emperor? According to what I have heard, you were to defeat Sky Swallowing clan leader Ba Su face to face. I assume your abilities are already at the pinnacle of the second stage level. Yes, Jian Wushuang did not deny it. That's it, Emperor Bai continued. The palace is not as simple as helping emperor gods become great emperors. It also helps great emperors like yourself to feel what the rules of order are like. What? Jian Wushuang was taken aback. The heaven-repairing palace could help him experience rules of order? Don't be shocked, of course the palace has greater utilities. If not, the Alliance would not have used 60% of our hard-earned resources on its activation, Emperor Bai said. However, it only barely lets you experience rules of order. Barely. To realize and master the rules of order from the interaction alone would be impossible, no matter how powerful your realization abilities were. Jian Wushuang understood, but could not hide his disappointment. He thought from the interaction with rules of order, perhaps he could try to learn it. From the looks of it, there was no way. Of course, even if you do not manage to learn it, experiencing it alone will do you wonders in the future. The palace will also improve your abilities in all ways. It won't help your inverse cultivation with the third stage, but it'll still improve it nonetheless. With your abilities, even without rules of order or the third stage inverse cultivation, you still have a chance with third stage Great Emperor abilities. Having a third stage Great Emperor would be fantastic for our battle effort. Jian Wushuang understood. The Eternal Chaotic World currently only had one true third stage Great Emperor, Emperor Bai. That included both the Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance. The rest were at most second stage Great Emperors. The known third stage Great Emperors of the Three Emperors world were Kaiser Blood, Lord Fen, and Demon King Chen Yu. That made three of them. Kaiser Blood even had the potential to battle Emperor Bai face to face. Under these circumstances, the Eternal Chaotic World needed a new third stage Great Emperor. And Jian Wushuang was the closest amongst them to reaching that stage. Understood, rest assured that I will do my best to reach third stage as soon as possible, Jian Wushuang replied. No rush, don't stress yourself out. That won't do any good, Emperor Bai smiled. Here are 3 letters, one for each seat in the palace. One is for you. Please pass the other 2 to Emperor God Liu Guang and Zhu Xian. Jian Wushuang received the letters before going on his way. Outside Thunderbolt Island. No rush back to the Red Dragon Sanctuary, let Zhu Xian wait there a bit longer. I should return the favor first, Jian Wushuang smiled, and made his way to Emperor God Liu Guang's residence. Outside the 10 top sanctuaries, in the dark void, lay a floating plateau. It may not have been big, but it was extremely idyllic, with its fair share of mountains and streams. At its center was an ancient palace. Emperor God Liu Guang was amongst 2 purple-haired lasses. Qing Xian, we are about to enter battle with the Three Emperors world, are you ready for it? Emperor God Liu Guang asked. Relax sister, this battle concerns the life and death of the Eternal Chaotic World. As an almighty, I am already mentally prepared. Unfortunately, I am only an ordinary Sir God, I cannot influence much. But you sister, a pinnacle emperor god, has a greater responsibility, the purple-haired lass replied. Oh yes, I have heard rumors from the Sanctuary Alliance saying that they would open the Heaven-Repairing Palace again. You have a shot at those seats. Heaven-Repairing Palace? Emperor God Liu Guang shook her head and laughed. Too many people fighting for those seats. Is not as easy as you think it will be. Just when Emperor God Liu Guang finished her sentence, Wang, a figure directly appeared within the palace without warning. Emperor God Liu Guang and her purple-haired lasses sensed it, and immediately sent people to check it out. Chapter 21:13 Emperor God Liu Guang's surprise this is. When Emperor God saw who had arrived, she froze before getting up. "Greetings, Sword Emperor," she bowed. "Emperor God Liu Guang, how are you? It's been some time since we've last met." "I'm honored you still remember me," Emperor God Liu Guang smiled humbly, but deep down she was conflicted. When she first met Jian Wushuang, his powers were beneath hers. But in the blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang was ranked second in the Heaven and Earth Supreme ranking list, one of the best experts amongst the Sanctuary Alliance, next to Emperor Bai. Yet she remained a pinnacle Emperor God. Jian Wushuang was on a different level. "Emperor God Liu Guang, I have arrived here today to repay a favor," Jian Wushuang replied. Emperor God Liu Guang's facial expression changed. Jian Wushuang indeed owed her a favor, she had simply never asked for it. Firstly, Jian Wushuang was already too high in status, she had dared not ask. Secondly, she had nothing urgent to request of Jian Wushuang. Yet now, without asking, Jian Wushuang had came to repay the favor. "This token is for you," Jian Wushuang said nothing more, and passed it to her directly. Emperor God Liu Guang received it, puzzled, but when she took a closer look and realized what the token was really about, she trembled. "This is the Heaven Repairing Palace token?" Emperor God Liu Guang's eyes were wide open, staring straight at Jian Wushuang. "Yes," Jian Wushuang smiled. "Your abilities and potential is pretty good. The Sanctuary Alliance wanted to place you into the list of candidates anyway. I simply gave you a push. Consider the favor paid." "Thank you, Sword Emperor." Emperor God Liu Guang was so grateful. She knew Jian Wushuang was not lying. Everyone knew the 12 seats in the Heaven Repairing Palace were not confirmed. Yet at this juncture, Jian Wushuang had given her the token directly. It may have been due to her abilities and potential, but it was also definitely because Jian Wushuang had helped her from behind. With Jian Wushuang's position and influence within the Sanctuary Alliance, a slight push would be more than enough to get Emperor God Liu Guang the seat. "I shall not stay for long. When the palace opens, I will send someone to inform you," Jian Wushuang said, and with that he left. Within the palace, Emperor God Liu Guang and the purple-haired lasses remained standing there. Emperor God Liu Guang had calmed down. "Sister, this is wonderful. You were worried about that seat a moment ago, then immediately the Sword Emperor delivered it to you personally. I'm surprised as well," Emperor God Liu Guang smiled. "The Sword Emperor did owe me a favor, but I never asked for it. He came to return it on his own, with a seat in the Heaven Repairing Palace. I know a little regarding this Sword Emperor. Apparently, his powers are next to Emperor Bai's in the Sanctuary Alliance. With his status and power and influence, even if you had no potential, he could still get a position for you," the purple-haired lass said. "Indeed," Emperor God Liu Guang nodded. "I was intending to hold on to this favor for when something big happened, like a crisis, but now, I didn't really help him out much back then anyway. I should count my lucky stars for getting this seat." Emperor God Liu Guang smiled and looked towards the purple-haired lass. "Qing Xian, the palace should not take long to open. I should prepare myself during this period of time. Forgive me for taking my leave." "Understood," the purple-haired girl replied. She was extremely happy for her. Emperor God Liu Guang immediately started preparing for the palace. On the other side, Jian Wushuang made his way for the Red Dragon Sanctuary. This time, he was going down personally. On the huge island, the Red Dragon Sanctuary. "O Red Dragon King, this twirling divine serum was painfully obtained by me 2 million years ago, please try it." Emperor God Juzian stood before the Red Dragon King respectfully, and offered the serum. The twirling divine serum was one of the rarest delicacies of the eternal chaotic world, almost as good as the white blaze fruit. Emperor God Juzian had been through much pain to obtain 2 pots. He had drank 1 pot previously, yet could not bear to drink the other. Now, he was offering it to the Red Dragon King. Twirling divine serum, the Red Dragon King seemed indifferent, but took it anyway. He drank the entire pot in 1 gulp. Emperor God Juzian was pained at the sight of this, but did not show it. "O Red Dragon King, do you think the higher-ups at the Sanctuary Alliance will give me the spot?" Emperor God Juzian asked cautiously. Red Dragon King glared at him, and sneered, "Who knows? If it were me, I would have tortured you till you handed it over. If you refused, then I'd kill you anyway. Luckily for you, The Sword Emperor is more merciful than me. Emperor God Juzian's face turned white, and he looked awkward upon hearing that. Let's see if the Sword Emperor is willing to fight for you or not. With his power and influence in the alliance, if he is willing to put in a good word for you, he will most certainly receive it. But Juzian, as an almighty within the Red Dragon Sanctuary, here's a piece of advice for you. Regardless of if the Sword Emperor got the position for you, you must pass him your soul attack secret skill. If not, Red Dragon King's expression turned ice cold. He was only willing to say all this after receiving Emperor God Juzian's swirling divine serum. Without it, he could not bother less. Emperor God Juzian nodded. Of course, I only hold a strand of hope regarding the seat. It does not matter if I receive it or not, I will hand over the secret skill anyway. Chapter 21 14:3 Divine Lights. Good to hear, Red Dragon King nodded. At that moment, Wang, a figure formed within the palace. It was Jian Wushuang. Sword Emperor, Emperor God Juzian immediately took a bow. Juzian, you got lucky. Jian Wushuang looked at Emperor God Juzian. Emperor God Juzian knew what that meant. He looked at Jian Wushuang in delight and excitement. With a flip of his hand, the token appeared in Jian Wushuang's hands. Emperor God Juzian knew what that was. It was the Heaven Repairing Palace's token. I've discussed it with Emperor Bai and the others. You can have a seat on one condition. Regardless of if you become Great Emperor or not, you will swear to fight at the forefront as our vanguard when the time to battle the Three Emperors world comes. Do you accept this? Jian Wushuang said indifferently. Emperor God Juzian flinched. Red Dragon King at the side laughed. The Sanctuary Alliance has always been fair. You want something others could have possessed instead, you need to pay a higher price than them. This is normal. Emperor God Juzian nodded, and replied, Sword Emperor, I am willing. As long as I get the chance to enter, I will do it even if it costs me my life. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows, and tossed the token towards him. After he received it, Emperor God Juzian clenched the token tightly with his fists, his eyes lighting up. The Heaven Repairing Palace, the opportunity of a lifetime. Seeing that, Jian Wushuang nodded his head from a corner. If it were him that had reached a bottleneck as a pinnacle emperor god, he too would have gambled everything for a chance to enter the palace, even putting his life on the line. Any cultivator with the heart of an elite expert would have done the same. Furthermore, the emperor god had nothing to hold him down from his ambitions. Nothing was more important to him than becoming stronger. Emperor God Juzian, the soul attack secret skill? Red Dragon King asked. Emperor God Juzian bounced, and took out a murky grey pearl. Sword Emperor, the secret skill lies within the pearl. In order to obtain the secret skill, you must obtain the method of inheritance from the pearl. I was unable to inherit it completely, so I was only able to learn a fraction of the secret skill. Oh! Jian Wushuang reacted. Emperor God Juzian's soul attack was already very impressive with a fraction of the skill. What if he had learnt the complete set? Let me try. Jian Wushuang smiled, and held the murky pearl in his palm, his soul power entering it. Information soon overwhelmed him. Jian Wushuang had started the inheritance process. As the process went on, he learned the name of the secret skill. The Three Divine Lights, it was called. The secret skill came from the ancient era, created by an ancient expert proficient in soul attacks. The secret skill was split into 3 parts: Golden Light Scripture, Foggy Light Scripture, and Nether Light Scripture. The Golden Light specified one-on-one soul attacks, concentrating all soul attack power to form a golden light, increasing the soul power's abilities and decimating enemies. The Foggy Light allowed for area soul attacks, suitable for messy battles, or when the person was surrounded by enemies. That skill delighted Jian Wushuang. With the battle against the Three Emperors world coming up, he would be able to use the skill against the countless enemies in one blow. The last scripture, Nether Light, focused on soul control. This scripture was the most powerful of them all, allowing Jian Wushuang's soul control to be silent, yet deadly. The Nether Light was much stronger than the soul control skills he had known. The 3 scriptures were entering Jian Wushuang's memory without obstruction or resistance. Within an hour, the process was done. Phew! Jian Wushuang opened his eyes and exhaled lightly. He was smiling. How is it, Sword Emperor? Red Dragon King looked towards Jian Wushuang. Not bad, this is an impressive skill, one of the best and most comprehensive soul attack skills I have ever encountered. It is not just good for one-on-one combat, but also area attacks. Soul control skills will help me a lot as well, Jian Wushuang said. That was true. Without a doubt, the secret skill was enough to cause substantial improvement in his soul attacks, allowing him to use it flawlessly during battles. Emperor God Juzian, you can have the pearl back. Jian Wushuang tossed the pearl back to him. Emperor God Juzian received it, but remained shocked. Sword Emperor, have you inherited the entire skill? Yes, Jian Wushuang nodded. How is that possible? Emperor God Juzian could not believe it. When I first started learning, it took me almost a month for the Golden Light scripture alone, the Foggy Light took me 3 years, and up till now I have yet to master the Nether Light. But Sword Emperor, you did everything within an hour? Chinjh, how can you compare yourself to the Sword Emperor? Red Dragon Emperor looked at Emperor God Juzian. He laughed awkwardly, but deep down he was impressed. He is indeed the recognized genius of the eternal chaotic world. Emperor God Juzian raised his head. Sword Emperor, although you have obtained the complete secret skills, they all need constant practicing for them to get stronger. I do not know much on Nether Light, but the other two can be split into 4 levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and master. Each level will improve the secret skills abilities greatly. Chapter 21:15 Unhindered 4 levels. Jian Wushuang gently nodded. Thanks for letting me know. With the secret skill in our hands, Sword Emperor and I shall take our leave. Remember, Juzian, never tell anyone about this incident. We never visited you, understood? Red Dragon King instructed. Understood. Jian Wushuang and the Red Dragon King left after a moment's notice. Only after they had left did Emperor God Juzian start to relax. His eyes were still gleaming with light. A spot in the palace, I actually did it. Emperor God Juzian's excitement could not be contained. Before all of that, he could never have imagined entering the palace. But Jian Wushuang's appearance had given him a glimpse of hope. Even with that, he did not have high hopes the Sanctuary Alliance would actually allocate him a seat. In the end, all thanks to the Sword Emperor. It was rumored that this Sword Emperor slaughtered mercilessly during his conquests. Even during the lineage of Star Battle, he took down more than 100 Almighties. But looking at him now, has a nicer person than I had imagined. A good negotiator too. Emperor God Juzian fumbled for a while, before making his decision. The palace is my last hope. I will make the best of it. Within the Red Dragon Sanctuary. Thank you for helping me out, Red Dragon King. Jian Wushuang smiled. Not a problem, you are most welcome to visit whenever you are free, Red Dragon King replied. Haha, sure. Jian Wushuang nodded before taking his leave. Jian Wushuang returned to the Green Fire world and started analyzing the 3 Divine Lights secret skill. There was still a period of time before the Heaven Repairing Palace would be activated. Naturally, he would try to cultivate while he could. 20 years passed. Within those 20 years, the 12 seats for the palace were selected. It was about time to activate the palace. 3 Emperor's World, within the Dark Void. Once there were 3 thrones within the void, now there were 4. Besides Lung Rushue, Kaiser Blood and Demon King Chen Yu, a new red-robed elder sat in the new throne. His hair and brows were all flaming red. He was a ball of fire, his flames felt as if they had burned through eras. Through the eras, the fire had shown no traces of extinguishment, but rather it grew to be more intense. He was Lord Fen, oldest amongst the 3 Emperors' world, and a 3rd-stage Great Emperor. He sat beside Lung Rushue, his aura pressing down upon Demon King Chen Yu. Demon King Chen Yu's face darkened. Old Fen, we've been friends for years, is there a need for this? Chinjh, I just wanted to see how much you've improved. So many years, nothing. Not unexpected, Lord Fen snorted. Asshole, who do you think I am? My powers have long reached their limits since the ancient era. I'm restricted under these heavens, you should know this, right? Demon King Chen Yu replied. Oh, I forgot, Lord Fen laughed, with a tinge of sarcasm in his tone. Stop it, the both of you. Kaiser Blood at the front finally opened his mouth. Lord Fen raised his eyebrow and stopped talking. Lord Fen, you were severely injured during your previous fight with Emperor Bai. After all these years, you should know him best, Kaiser Blood said. Emperor Bai, Lord Fen's face darkened. He had a grudge. His power doesn't mean much back in our era, but now, terrifying would be an understatement. That battle with him? I was suppressed completely. Based on the first era divisions, I'm close to pinnacle third stage levels, but I know for sure that if I were to fight him now, I wouldn't stand a chance. Kaiser Blood's pupils widened. It's how he cultivated himself. He learned inverse cultivation, completely different from what I learnt. In this era, under the restrictions of these heavens, I can only utilize peak chaotic realm powers. But Emperor Bai, he had no restrictions. When I fought him, I could feel it. His foundation powers were already beyond chaotic realm powers. After pausing, Lord Fen continued, he already has the advantage based on pure strength, along with the rules of order and secret skills he has learnt. Combine that together and you get an expert so strong almost no one from the first era can hope to surpass him. Such fighting power makes him invincible in this era. No offense, Kaiser Blood, but even though your rules of order are better than his under the restraints we are placed under, I'm afraid you are not his match. Kaiser Blood's eyes went even more bloodshot. Meaning to say, I have underestimated this Emperor Bai. His smile was ice-cold, sharp like a blade. Inverse cultivation? Who created this system? How could it be so powerful as to ignore the restrictions these heavens have placed upon us? I'm not sure, Lord Fen shook his head. According to what I know, Emperor Bai was the first inverse cultivator. There have been others after him, but their achievements were limited. None of them reached chaotic realm powers. As Lord Fen finished, Leng Rushue responded, now there's a second one, Jian Wushuang. His inverse cultivation is now at chaotic realm powers, next to Emperor Bai. Chapter 21 16 Day of Activation. Oh? Lord Fen frowned. He had not exposed himself to the outside world for many years. It was natural he had not heard of the name Jian Wushuang. Kaiser Blood started mumbling, to recreate a cultivation system that goes against natural law. It was definitely not done by experts from this era. If anyone had the skills to this, it must have been a super expert from my era, the strong few. But who did it, and why did he create this? I do not know. Lord Fen and Demon King Chen Yu fell quiet upon hearing that. They may have been impressive in the current era, but place them in the ancient era amongst the few super experts of that time? They were nothing more than ants, easily squashed. If they ever encountered such an expert in their lifetimes, they would all need to get down on their knees. Enough of this, I just received news from the Archilon Palace. The Sanctuary Alliance intends to activate the Heaven Repairing Palace once again. They want to increase their Great Emperor numbers before the fight, Kaiser Blood said. Great Emperor levels are the best this era can reach. We have made preparations for so many years, but we still do not have enough Great Emperors. Along with the various mistakes we made previously, we no longer have an advantage against them. Our fighting power is almost equal to theirs as of now, but if they gain a few more Great Emperors, Kaiser Blood looked at Demon King Chen Yu. Demon King Chen Yu's face darkened. He knew, the advantage the three emperors' world had previously had been lost by the Archilon Palace under his lead. He had infiltrated both human and special tribes from the Archilon Palace for so many years, but he had lost everything in moments. Years of effort, gone. Relax, the Heaven Repairing Palace lies within the ancient Mystery Land. We have laid our traps over there for so many years. With me in charge this time I guarantee there will be no more mistakes. But that Emperor Bai, Demon King Chen Yu frowned. Recalling the previous fight with him, he knew he was not his opponent. If Emperor Bai were to appear, he would not stand a chance. I'll pressure Emperor Bai on my side, giving him no time to clone himself, Kaiser Blood said. That'll do. As long as Emperor Bai doesn't appear, no one in the Sanctuary Alliance can stop me. I'll kill all that enter the Heaven Repairing Palace, and maybe a great emperor or two, Demon King Chen Yu said. Kaiser Blood and Lord Fen looked at one another and nodded. Indeed, regardless of Sanctuary Alliance or Special Tribes Alliance, Emperor Bai was the only terrifying person around. No one else was a third-stage Great Emperor. As long as Emperor Bai did not surface, Demon King Chen Yu could crush anyone who stood in his way. Another thing, Demon King Chen Yu said. We brought back some experts from the Sky-Swallowing clan from the Special Tribes domain. Ba Su from that clan wishes to enter our land of opportunity and try to master some rules of order. Ba Su? Kaiser Blood squinted and said, Ba Su was not able to complete our mission, but he has the ability. As a pinnacle second-stage Great Emperor, he would be strongest within the three emperors' world, excluding us. If he can really master just a bit of rules of order and ascend to third-stage levels, that'll be good for us. His chances are slim, but he can try, Lord Fen nodded. In that case, well, let him try once. But before he goes in, preparations must be made, Kaiser Blood said. Of course, if he wants to enter, he'll have to listen to our orders from now on, Demon King Chen Yu laughed. In the eternal chaotic world, near Thunderbolt Island, was a huge floating plateau. This piece of land was built by Sanctuary Alliance experts at a cost. The people that resided on the plateau were the experts from the Special Tribes Alliance. In a huge hall, Jian Wushuang sat there, watching over King Chen Yu, Black Dragon Emperor, and An Quan. I'll leave the alliance matters to the three of you during my period of absence, Jian Wushuang said. Rest assured, Ancient Emperor, the Human Sanctuary Alliance is sincere. During this period of time, they have not clashed with us. Nothing will happen while you are at the palace, King Chen Xing said. Okay, Jian Wushuang nodded and left. At the void outside the plateau, Abysmal Saint Master had been waiting. Abysmal, you're making the rounds personally? Jian Wushuang laughed at him. Not just me, East Royals already waiting outside the Heaven Repairing Palace. Oh! Jian Wushuang was astonished. What can I say, the palace lies within ancient Mystery Land, not under Sanctuary Alliance control. Furthermore, this is important. East Royal and I will guard the palace till you all leave, Abysmal Saint Master said. Jian Wushuang nodded. He knew that the Sanctuary Alliance dared not be reckless after spending much to activate the palace. They did not just send 2 great emperors to guard the palace, but placed multiple sealing formations at the ancient Mystery Land's entrances, with guards to protect them as well. This was to ensure no one from the three emperors' world would come to interfere. Furthermore, Emperor Bai personally deployed himself to the void outside the three emperors' world. If any experts were to come out, he would block them. The Sanctuary Alliance made their fair share of preparations. Let's go, Abysmal Saint Master said. Sure, Jian Wushuang replied. Using a wormhole, they arrived at one of the entrances. Jian Wushuang immediately discovered the multiple sealing formations. Tight security. With that, the both of them stepped into the ancient Mystery Land. Chapter 21:17 Entering the Heaven Repairing Palace. The ancient Mystery Land had been activated multiple times from the first era to the second. Now, the land remained permanently open. A huge ancient battlefield lay upon the land. Huge crowds of experts came during the early days of the eternal chaotic world. But as the Green Fire world expanded with their own superior ancient battlefields, not many people came back. I've heard of this ancient Mystery Land multiple times, but this is the first time I've been here, Jian Wushuang smiled. This land still holds many opportunities, but it's nothing compared to the battlefields in your hometown, Abysmal Saint Master said. Jian Wushuang smiled. Soon, both reached the palace. The Heaven Repairing Palace stood amongst piles of rubble. It looked like a dilapidated palace beyond repair, but there was more to it than met the eye. Many experts were already waiting outside the palace. In front stood East Royal Emperor, the other 11 experts, and more who were in charge of protecting the palace along with the East Royal Emperor. Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master, East Royal Emperor greeted them. Everyone's here, East Royal? Abysmal Saint Master asked. Yes, with the Sword Emperor's arrival, we can begin to activate the palace, East Royal Emperor said. Jian Wushuang nodded and looked towards the 11 people. Among those were Emperor God Liu Guang and Zhu Xian. Noticing Jian Wushuang's gaze, They immediately bowed. Jian Wushuang smiled, and noticed Chen Mingzi. Elder Chen, how are you? Jian Wushuang smiled. Chen Mingzi was an expert under Purple Moon Emperor. They had once helped the lineage of stars against the three big alliances. You're too kind, Sword Emperor, Chen Mingzi respectfully replied. Besides the trio, Jian Wushuang recognized another person. This young man wore a white robe, his hair white as snow, his gaze as cold. Emperor God Tianling? Jian Wushuang was surprised. Emperor God Tianling, co-founder of the Soaring Heaven King Palace, was the strongest expert within the Star Extermination Alliance, back when he fought at the Lineage of Stars. His abilities were already pinnacle Emperor God at that time, and he was qualified to fight against the Underworld God. After so many years, this Emperor God had yet to reach Great Emperor levels, but amongst Emperor Gods he was definitely the most qualified person for a seat in the palace, with the highest chances of actually reaching Great Emperor. Emperor God Tianling sensed Jian Wushuang looking at him. His emotions were conflicting. Jian Wushuang back then had fought vigorously against him at the Soaring Heaven King Palace. They only decided to let down their grudges temporarily for the Three Emperors World Battle. But the Jian Wushuang of today, he had grown so strong that he left Emperor God Tianling speechless. At the same time, he was glad this battle was about to emerge. Without it, Jian Wushuang would have long ago made his move against the Soaring Heaven King Palace, and he would not be able to do anything about it. Regardless, I must reach Great Emperor levels after this. If not when Jian Wushuang comes after me, the Soaring Heaven King Palace will go down without a fight. Emperor God Tianling clenched his fists. He was determined. What he did not know was that Jian Wushuang no longer cared so much about his rivalry against the Soaring Heaven King Palace. A small Soaring Heaven King Palace was no longer worth the time and effort needed to exact his revenge. Jian Wushuang's biggest enemy now is the Three Emperors world. He could even put down his grudge against Abysmal Saint Master, and become good friends with him. As long as the Soaring Heaven King Palace did their best, he would not come after them. Of course, if they were to make any sudden movements, he would not let it slide. His gaze shifted to another person. This person attracted Jian Wushuang more than anyone else. His aura was the strongest amongst the Emperor Gods, even more than Emperor God Tianling. Maybe as good as a normal Great Emperor. If I am not wrong, you are Underworld God? Jian Wushuang asked the green-robed, normal-looking middle-aged man. Greetings, Sword Emperor, the man bowed humbly, but without much fear. I see, Jian Wushuang smiled. Rumor has it that you are the only Emperor God around able to go against a Great Emperor. I guess they were right. In fact, you're probably stronger than that. If I were to put you against a Great Emperor, you could probably handle it, right? Hearing this, the Underworld God smiled. He did not deny it. But he still humbly replied, the rumors are not true. I can indeed go against Great Emperors as an Emperor God, but am not the only one. With you Sword Master, the unbelievable Emperor God at that point of time, how could I claim this title alone? Jian Wushuang laughed. He took a few more glances at the Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling. The rest he did not care for as much. Since everyone is here, let us activate the palace now, Jian Wushuang said. Understood, East Royal Emperor nodded, and waved a few gestures towards the palace. A token was tossed into the palace. The dilapidated palace started to glow, and began its restoration to its former glory. The doors soon opened. You all can enter now, East Royal Emperor said. Please guard us well, both of you, Jian Wushuang said and entered the palace first. The other 11 Emperor Gods followed one by one. Chapter 21:18 Altars. After entering Heaven Repairing Palace, Jian Wushuang and his party arrived at a vast, dark space. This space seemed to stretch on forever. In the middle of this dark space were 12 light balls. As they walked nearer, they recognized the 12 light balls. They were 12 large, old altars. These 12 altars floated quietly in the middle of the dark space. An ancient aura radiated outwards slowly. These 12 altars represents 12 seats, and everyone here will take one seat. Take charge of your own opportunities and you will not disturb anyone else during this period of time, if not I will, Jen Wushuang said coldly. Yes. The 11 emperor gods nodded their heads in unison. Go on. Jen Wushuang waved his hand as the 11 emperor gods moved towards the altar. Jen Wushuang did not waste any time as he too flew to an altar. The large altar was made of a special black crystal. There were complicated secret restrictions carved on every single corner of the altar. Jen Wushuang realized that even at his power level, he could not understand these restrictions at all. Jen Wushuang sat in the middle of the altar. He took a deep breath as divine power started to radiate from his body. The moment his divine power was radiated, the purple secret restrictions glowed like bright, purple snakes and came to life. As these purple restrictions started to work, a surging energy erupted out of nowhere. This energy was grey in color and it looked as though there was nothing there. However, Jen Wushuang was shocked when this power appeared. This energy is so pure. Jen Wushuang exclaimed. He sat in the middle of the altar and could feel how amazing the energy was as it surrounded him. Jen Wushuang thought the purest energy found within the eternal chaotic world should have been the divine power. However, this grey energy was at least 10 times more pure and vast. It felt as though it was a higher form of power. A beginner cultivator would absorb the spiritual influence of heaven and earth and store it as spiritual energy to be used. Only when one reached the stage of universe God would his spiritual energy evolve into divine power. Between divine power and spiritual energy, the difference was that divine power was a higher form of power. Now the grey energy on the altar felt as though it was of a higher form than divine power. What is this energy? Jen Wushuang muttered to himself as he tried to contain the surprise he had. Even though he was unsure what exactly the grey energy was, the grey energy started gushing into his body. Rumble. Vast amounts of energy gushed into Jen Wushuang's body. His heavenly creation skill started to work by itself and started to absorb this grey energy at an insane rate. My God. I finally understood why the Heaven Repairing Palace can help some top-tier emperor god evolve into great emperors. Just by this pure energy itself, it can help many top-tier emperor gods to try and force their way into the realm of great emperors, Jen Wushuang thought to himself. A normal cultivator needed many conditions before he could evolve from an emperor god to a great emperor. For example, their understanding of Tao, the amount of divine power they had, and most importantly, the opportunity to evolve. Now, with such an incredible amount of the grey energy, even if the opportunity to evolve was not there, one could try to force their way through. Even though the chance of success was low for such a brute method, they would still have a small chance as long as they tried. This energy is so pure that I can benefit from it greatly. As an inverse cultivator, the energy for me to reach stage 3 is far too much. The energy gushing out from the altar is still insufficient for me to evolve. Jen Wushuang thought to himself. The 7th step in inverse cultivation, evolving from stage 1 to stage 2, did not need too much diving power. Jen Wushuang got his opportunity and cultivated within the Supreme Emperor Stone and managed to accumulate sufficient divine power to evolve. The divine power needed to evolve from stage 2 to stage 3 was far greater. Jen Wushuang knew this well. Hence he did not plan to reach stage 3 using this time within the Heaven Repairing Palace. He just wanted to try his best to become stronger. If I absorb this energy, I will have slightly more divine power. The increment in fighting power is insignificant. I shall instead use it on my immemorial celestial body, Jen Wushuang thought to himself. Immemorial celestial body, the strongest secret skill of body refinery that the ancient god clan had. Jen Wushuang successfully cultivated the first scroll, which boosted his power by a great amount. Now that he had reached stage 2 of Chaotic Realm, he hoped to be able to cultivate the second scroll. Calm down. There must be more opportunities within the Heaven Repairing Palace other than this mysterious power. Let me go and see if there are more. Jen Wushuang smiled. He closed his eyes as his soul power radiated out. His consciousness melted into the altar. To be exact, it melted into the bright purple secret restrictions on the altar. From what Jen Wushuang could perceive, the secret restrictions acted as though they had turned to live snakes. The snakes were slithering within his mind and forming a complete picture. This picture was of a sleeping exotic beast. Looking at the way the purple restrictions moved, the chest of the purple exotic rose and dropped as though it was snoring. When the picture appeared in his mind, Jian Wushuang was shocked beyond words. He stared into the purple exotic beast and tried to perceive it. Tao, endless Tao. Jian Wushuang widened his eyes. Supreme Four Doctrine, Nine Heaven God Doctrine. Everything is here, and so complete and clear. He was shocked beyond words. This was because the purple exotic beast looked as though it embodied everything that heaven and earth had to offer. Chapter 21 Purple Exotic Bees Supreme Four Doctrine, Nine Heaven God Doctrine. There was Sword Doctrine, Knife Doctrine, Spear Doctrine, and whatever other doctrines there were. Jian Wushuang could sense the Sword Doctrine he was an expert in most clearly and strongly. He also could sense Spacetime Doctrine and the Reincarnation Doctrine. The purple exotic beast embodied everything. No matter Spacetime Doctrine or the Reincarnation Doctrine, what I will be seeing is the complete doctrine. This, Jian Wushuang took a deep breath. Unbelievable. He felt that this purple exotic beast was unbelievable. Who made these 12 altars? What exactly is that exotic beast? Jian Wushuang muttered to himself as he looked at the beast. He was looking at the fundamental makeup of the beast and how the doctrine operated. That was derivation using doctrine as a foundation. He could clearly sense how a high form of power had been derived from the power of Heaven Wei. The higher form of power was paramount to everything he knew. No form of doctrine could compare to this new power. Only through derivation could this power be formed from doctrine. Is that rules of order? Jian Wushuang muttered to himself softly. He felt the high form of power. He understood how it had come about. Without a doubt, they were the rules of order. Just like Emperor Bai said, even though he sensed rules of order from the purple exotic beast, he could not perceive them. What a pity. This had nothing to do with the ability to perceive. Even though the purple exotic beast contained rules of order, there was no way that one could perceive it. They could only experience it. Even though I could not perceive it, I could still benefit greatly if I understood the process. At least I know that in the future, I will have an idea of how to perceive the rules of order. Jian Wushuang smiled contentedly. After experiencing rules of order once, Jian Wushuang had started to study the doctrine within the purple exotic beast. Reincarnation Doctrine, Spacetime Doctrine, and Sword Doctrine. This exotic beast embodied everything and I perceived it. Jian Wushuang smiled and made a decision. He did not hope to have a big breakthrough and reach stage 3 or grasp rules of order on the altar. He decided he should use this short amount of time to improve his Spacetime Doctrine, Reincarnation Doctrine, and Sword Doctrine. He would also use the pure energy to cultivate the second scroll of immemorial celestial body. My battle power has reached the brink of a stage 2 Great Emperor. As long as I improve my understanding of doctrine and successfully cultivate the second scroll of immemorial celestial body, my battle power will be that of a stage 3 Great Emperor. Jian Wushuang thought as he clenched his fist. He calmed down and started meditating. At the same time, the other 11 Emperor gods realized how magical this altar was. Unbelievable, this energy is so much purer than divine power. What is this mysterious energy? And that purple exotic beast, how could it embody all the doctrines? Emperor God Juzian sat on the altar as his eyes brightened like never before. This is the real big opportunity. This will probably be the biggest and last opportunity in my life. I can't waste this. Meditate. Spare no effort to meditate. Waste not a single second. Back in the ancient past, they have incredible means. I wonder which Almighty created this heaven-repairing palace. It's too amazing. Underworld God thought to himself. With the help of the altar, there is a high chance I will reach the realm of Great Emperor despite the short time I have. What is important is how strong I will be after I reach the level of Great Emperor. There is no hurry, I will take it slowly. Underworld God was absolutely confident. He was already very close to the realm of Great Emperor. All he needed was an opportunity which could be found everywhere within this heaven-repairing palace, which meant that it was almost confirmed that he would reach the realm of Great Emperor. Emperor God Liu Guang, Elder Qian, and every other emperor god on the altar realized the opportunity the altar provided. They were overjoyed. Before long, they were concentrating on meditating and working towards the realm of Great Emperor. They were different from Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang planned to use the heaven-repairing palace to raise his own fighting power and understand the doctrine. The remaining emperor gods planned to use this opportunity to reach Great Emperor, the opportunity that heaven-repairing palace provided them with the conditions to do so. All THA was left was their own ability. Heaven-repairing palace had only opened once since its discovery. This was the second time it had opened. The amount of resources needed to open this palace was unbelievable, so even the Sanctuary Alliance found it hard to bear with. Like for today's opening, Sanctuary Alliance had used nearly 60% of the resources it had accumulated over the ages. The remaining resources would not allow them to open this palace even if they wanted to. Every time the heaven-repairing palace was opened, it would last for a month. A month's time was very short, hence the people within the palace gave it their all. In a blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Jian Wushuang, who sat on one of the altars in the darkness, opened his eyes. The purple exotic beast is beneficial for me. I meditated to all 3 of my doctrines, the space-time doctrine, the reincarnation doctrine and the sword doctrine. I managed to have a breakthrough for my reincarnation doctrine. Jian Wushuang smiled. Chapter 21:20 Incoming Enemy. Jian Wushuang's understanding of the reincarnation doctrine reached the 8th level within the doctrine palace but did not achieve any breakthrough. Even though he did not focus on the reincarnation doctrine with these conditions, he still managed to achieve a breakthrough and his understanding reached the 9th level of the doctrine palace within just 3 days. Even though he was a genius, the main reason for this was because the purple exotic beast had helped him far too much. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes and continued mediating. In the blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang and the group of emperor gods had been in the palace for half a month. Within this half a month, it was very peaceful. This peace was about to be broken. In ancient Mystery Land, which was a distance away from the heaven-repairing palace, there was a plot of ordinary land. Even if one used their soul power to scan, they could not sense anything. In reality, within the depths of this land, there was a hidden formation. At this point in time, the formation was running. It caused the entire land to tremble lightly. Within moments, peace returned. However, figures appeared on the formation. There were around 30 people in black cloaks. The leader was a well-built man whose skin color was bronze and was over 2 meters tall. His aura was far stronger than everyone else's. If Jian Wushuang was here, he would be able to recognize him immediately. This man had fought with Jian Wushuang before. It was the Stage 3 Great Emperor, Demon King Chen Yu. 6 other men in black cloaks reached the realm of Great Emperor and had a terrifying aura. The remaining people were all emperor gods. This was probably the strongest lineup Akron Palace had, 6 great emperors and 20 emperor gods led by a Stage 3 Great Emperor, Demon King Chen Yu. Their target was heaven-repairing palace. Back then I set this formation in the ancient Mystery Land as a precautionary measure. Never did I think I would actually use it. Demon King Chen Yu smiled devilishly. At every entrance to the ancient Mystery Land were experts from the Sanctuary Alliance standing guard. It was further reinforced with secret restrictions. It was impossible to sneak past undetected. Furthermore, if the ancient Mystery Land was still sealed, this formation would not work as well. Because of the exposure of Zishu and Vientiane Tower, I lost face in front of Kaiser Blood and Lord Fen. This time, I will do it personally as I cannot allow for any mishaps. I will not be able to have my influence in Holocaust Sect or 3 Emperors World anymore. Demon King Chen Yu roared quietly. Yes, the experts from Akron Palace nodded their heads and answered in unison. Their vision turned cold. Move out. Demon King Chen Yu waved his hands as the 30 or so experts flew towards Heaven-Repairing Palace. Heaven-Repairing Palace looked like an ordinary palace. Even though the door was wide open, no one could enter as the 12 seats had all been filled. Before the palace was opened, Sanctuary Alliance had sent over 20 Almighty over to guard it. The 2 leaders were the Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor. Abysmal Saint Master, how many do you think can break through to the level of Great Emperor? East Royal Emperor chatted casually with the Abysmal Saint Master. No idea. When we were still clueless about the palace the previous time it was opened, we didn't choose the candidates carefully, and yet Colored Gaze and Ju Qiao made it into the realm of Great Emperor. This time, we spent so much effort choosing the candidates, the chances should be much better. There should at least be 3, even 4 if we are lucky. 3 or 4. Among the 12 who entered, Underworld God is the strongest. It is sure that he will make it into the realm of great emperors. Emperor God Tian Ling from Soaring Heaven King Palace is weaker to only to the Underworld God. He is also very talented and has a high chance of making it through. As for the remaining, it depends on their luck. That is true. But no matter what, Jian Wushuang will not make it, Abysmal Saint Master said. Is that not obvious? East Royal Emperor smiled. Jian Wushuang was an inverse cultivator. How could he break through so easily? When they were having a casual chit-chat, in the space far away, a black cloud appeared. This cloud started becoming bigger as it approached the palace at a very fast speed. That is, the Abysmal Saint Master and the East Royal Emperor was aware of the approaching black cloud. They saw the true identity of the black cloud when used their soul power to scan it. It was a group of experts in black cloaks. These experts appeared instantaneously in front of them. Terrifying aura swept towards the heaven-repairing palace. Oh no! They are from Akron Palace. Abysmal Saint Masters and East Royal Emperor's faces turned pale. Damn it! How did the people from Akron Palace came into the ancient mystery land? Aren't the entrances guarded by people and secret restrictions? Even if they forced their way through, there should have been a heads-up for us, the Abysmal Saint Master yelled. He realized that these experts from Akron Palace did not enter via the entrance. They must have came from other routes. Without giving them any more time to think, the experts in black cloaks approached them. Humph! The Abysmal Saint Master snorted as he turned into darkness. The darkness turned into a large, dark vortex. A monstrous black beast charged out from within the vortex. Chapter 21 Crumbling Roar. The black beast made a deafening roar. At that instant, the Abysmal Saint Master erupted. He went all out. The leader of the group, the Demon King Chen Yu, looked at the beast in disdain. Scram! Demon King Chen Yu yelled as he took a step forward. His fist, surrounded by a thick demonic mist, punched out. A terrifying aura swept out. Boom! A thunderous sound reverberated as the dark beast the size of a small mountain exploded under the impact of the punch. At the same time, the dark vortex the Abysmal Saint Master was in started to crumble with a bang. Whoosh! The Abysmal Saint Master retreated and barely managed to balance himself once again. He was pale and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. The difference between Stage 2 and Stage 3 is so big. The Abysmal Saint Master looked at Demon King Chen Yu in shock. He managed to break through to become a Stage 2 Emperor not long after he had left the 3 Emperor world. He was slightly stronger than the Red Dragon King. Even so, he was helpless against the Demon King Chen Yu, who was in Stage 3. Mayday, Mayday. Heaven Repairing Palace is under attack. Akron Palace has a Stage 3 Great Emperor. East Royal Emperor and I are no match for him. Requesting help immediately, the Abysmal Saint Master sent out a distress message. He knew that even if he asked for reinforcements now, the experts from Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance would need time to get there. During this period of time, could he and East Royal Emperor fend off the attackers? The answer was no. Humph! I will not waste time on trash like you. Demon King Chen Yu looked Abysmal Saint Master in the eye as he moved towards the Heaven Repairing Palace. Stop! The Abysmal Saint Master yelled fiercely as the darkness shrouded him in an attempt to stop the Demon King in his tracks. Before he could get to the Demon King, he was stopped by 3 other Great Emperors. None of the 3 Great Emperors reached Stage 2, but they could hinder his movements when they worked together. On the other side, the East Royal Emperor was in the same predicament as the Abysmal Saint Master. He was surrounded by 3 Great Emperors. Damn it! The Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor did not look good. On the other hand, the demon king Chen Yu appeared in front of the heaven-repairing palace. Is this the heaven-repairing palace? According to legend, the palace was built at a great cost by a clan. It was a top-tier opportunity even back in the ancient past. It is a pity that such a place is now used by a group of people in the chaotic realm trying to break through. What a joke. I shall completely destroy it. Demon King Chen Yu smiled coldly. He clenched his fist and punched outwards. Boom. It was a powerful punch, so powerful that everything between his fist and the palace exploded. A deafening sound was heard. The entire palace trembled and returned to normal after a while. Oh, it seems to be quite sturdy. That's right, this palace managed to survive that apocalyptic war, of course it should be sturdy. Demon King Chen Yu was surprised, then he understood why. Since that is the case, a flash of ruthlessness flashed across his eyes before his aura rose to the peak. He was surrounded by demonic mist before he attacked once again. This time, the demon King Chen Yu used both his hands. Boom, 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 boom. Punches with the power to kill an ordinary great emperor rained down on the palace. Under the frenzied assault, the palace started to tremble more and more. It threatened to collapse at any time. Within the heaven-repairing palace, in the dark space, Jian Wushuang sat quietly, meditating to the various doctrines and cultivating the second scroll of the immemorial celestial body. After half a month of meditation, his understanding of the space-time doctrine and reincarnation doctrine improved significantly. Both his reincarnation doctrine and space-time doctrine reached the 9th level within the Doctrine Palace, with the space-time doctrine only one step away from turning into rules of order. As for his sword doctrine, his understanding had improved greatly. If he were to cast his sword principles such as sword principle Shen Luo, it would be much more powerful and brilliant. As for the second scroll of immemorial celestial body, this secret skill was of a very high level. If Jian Wushuang were in the outside world, he would need a long time to successfully cultivate it. Now on the altar, with the help of the pure energy, his progress was fast. He was not far from success. He estimated he would need roughly 10 more days before he successfully cultivate the second scroll. If that was the case, his fighting power would skyrocket once again. He left after half a month inside the heaven-repairing palace. Under normal circumstances, he would have made it in time. Right then. Boom. A thunderous boom exploded in his eardrums. A crack in space appeared in the dark space in which the 12 altars were located. That was just the beginning. Soon after, the booms started to become more regular. A large amount of space was destroyed as the 12 altars threatened to collapse at any time. What is going on? What is happening? Looks like someone is attacking the heaven-repairing palace from outside. Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor should be guarding the palace. Who dares to create this commotion? The 12 Emperor gods were surprised as they received a message from the Abysmal Saint Master. 7 great emperors from Akron Palace attacked. As far as he knew, Sanctuary Alliance paid utmost attention to the opening of Heaven-Repairing Palace this time. There were 2 great emperors guarding the palace personally. At the various entrances, there were secret restrictions and many almighties standing on guard, and yet the Akron Palace managed to break through all these defenses. Chapter 21-22 Jian Wushuang's retaliation. Looks like I underestimated the capabilities of the Akron Palace. Jian Wushuang thought solemnly. He made a decision instantly. Whoosh. Jian Wushuang left the altar. He appeared in the dark space which was severely damaged. He scanned the emperor gods sitting at the other altars and said, "All of you continue to meditate and cherish this opportunity. Let me handle the commotion outside." He then left the 11 emperor gods behind and dashed out of the palace. There shouldn't be any problems since the Sword Emperor decided to handle the matter personally. Let us continue. Underworld God said before he closed his eyes. The remaining 10 emperor gods composed themselves and continued meditating. Outside the heaven-repairing palace, Demon King Chen Yu was still in a frenzy, throwing punches at the palace. The palace looked like it was going to collapse at any moment. None of the experts from Sanctuary Alliance could stop him as he rained down punches ruthlessly on the palace. Right then, whoosh. A beam of light burst forth from within the palace. The moment it appeared, a terrifying sword aura swept out in all directions. Jian Wushuang had fire in his eyes. Divine power raged all around as Blood Mountain's sword turned into lightning and slashed towards Demon King Chen Yu. With his current power level, even a casual slash was very powerful to the point a stage 3 great emperor like Demon King Chen Yu would be threatened. Huh! Demon King Chen Yu frowned. His fist changed its target, from the palace to the sword light. Clang! The collision between flesh and metal made a thunderous sound. After the collision, Demon King Chen Yu staggered while Jian Wushuang took 3 steps back. While Jian Wushuang was moving back uncontrollably. Whoosh! 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 7 beams of golden light glowed. Every beam of light was a sword which contained great power. They were his Hong Jun golden swords. Before Jian Wushuang entered the heaven-repairing palace, his understanding of the spacetime doctrine had limited him to being able to command only 6 of these swords. After half a month of intense cultivation, his understanding had reached the peak of the 9th level within the doctrine palace, hence he was able to command the 7th sword. The 7 Hong Jun golden swords were like 7 shooting stars. They streaked across the space and appeared in front of Demon King Chen Yu together. Humph! Demon King Chen Yu grunted as demonic mist surrounded him. His right hand enlarged and encompassed all 7 swords. With a bang, the 7 swords flew backwards. Jian Wushuang's face turned dark upon seeing this. Demon King Chen Yu has grasped a little of rules of order. He is much stronger than me if he uses his power together with his secret skills. Each slash by any of my 7 swords has the power of a top-tier stage 2 great emperors. However, he simply used his fist and punched all swords away. This power, it's a pity that he has come too early. If he came 10 days later, I would have successfully celestial immemorial body. Using that power, it would be much easier to deal with him, Jian Wushuang muttered. The immemorial celestial body would not only make his diving body stronger, but also strengthen his body's self-defense mechanism. He should also experience a leap in the quantity and quality of his divine power. When he had first cultivated the first scroll of the immemorial celestial body, the quality of his divine power had increased 3-fold. Even though the second scroll would not have such a crazy leap, there would still be a leap in his power. Using that insane divine power, he could match Demon King Chen Yu in power without even grasping rules of order. However, the fact was that he had not cultivated the second scroll of immemorial celestial body, hence his fighting power was not at that level. Even though my fighting power is lower, I can still fight him head-on using the unique properties of an inverse cultivator. Jian Wushuang thought as a glimpse of sternness flashed across his eyes. Jian Wushuang? It's you again. Killing intent spew forth when Demon King Chen Yu saw him. He hated Jian Wushuang to the core. At first, Jian Wushuang had ventured into the 3 Emperors' world and destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone. This had caused their plan of using the Supreme Emperor Stone to destroy the eternal chaotic world to fail. Then, Jian Wushuang had helped to expose Zizu's true identity as a spy. Jian Wushuang had used himself as bait and deduced that there was a spy among the higher-ups within the Sanctuary Alliance. The reason why the spies among Sanctuary Alliance were found and killed were largely due to him. Lastly, the reason why the plan for the special tribes had failed was also due to Jian Wushuang. This meant that the reason why the Akron Palace had failed over and over again was because of him. This was also the reason why he had been shamed in front of Kaiser Blood and Lord Fen. Looks like it's my lucky day. You managed to escape the other time in the 3 Emperors' world, but you won't be so lucky this time around. What a joke. You couldn't even kill me the previous time. This time, you probably can't even fight me head-on. Jian Wushuang said coldly as he attacked. Haha. You've got guts. Demon King Chen Yu fought back, excited. He completely ignored the heaven-repairing palace. Compared to the Emperor gods, Jian Wushuang posed a bigger threat to the 3 Emperors' world. He was an inverse cultivator like Emperor Bai with terrifying growth. If this were to continue, he could become the 2nd Emperor Bai. Killing him would mean much more than killing the Emperor gods within the heaven-repairing palace. Demon King Chen Yu was confident about being able to kill Jian Wushuang. Back in the Three Emperors world, the reason Jian Wushuang had survived was because Emperor Bai had arrived on time to save Jian Wushuang. Another reason was because all Jian Wushuang did was run. Now that Emperor Bai was not around, no one could stop him. Furthermore, Jian Wushuang did not show any signs of wanting to escape and wanted to fight him straight on. How could he miss such a precious chance? Die, Jian Wushuang! Demon King Chen Yu roared as 6 more arms grew to make up a total of 8. Chapter 21-23 Battle against Demon King Chen Yu. The Demon King Chen Yu suddenly exploded in size and was 10 feet tall. His skin completely turned into bronze and each of his 8 hands gripped a different weapon: sword, bats, mirrors, seals. At the same time, a vertical third eye slowly opened in between his eyebrows. It was charming but released red light. At that moment, all 8 of his arms swung at Jian Wushuang. Each arm gripped tight of the respective weapons as each attack brought about limitless demonic aura. Jian Wushuang had experienced the power of these weapons firsthand before. He dared not to be careless. Humph! Jian Wushuang grunted as his divine body grew in size. Arms started to grow out of his body. His giant divine body looked like a giant vortex that swallowed everything there was. A special sword essence of gale boiled. Sword principle Shen Luo. Mixed element spirit. Sword lights swept out in all directions. Qian Wushuang had improved greatly over the course of half a month when he had meditated to the purple exotic beast within the heaven repairing palace. His understanding of the various doctrines and his sword skills had increased greatly. When he cast sword principle Shen Luo, not only was it more powerful, the entire process had been much smoother and seemed more natural. Clang, 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 clang. Sounds of metals crashing together rang out loud as the monstrous aura swept uncontrollably outwards. Jian Wushuang fought the Demon King Chen Yu head-on. His divine power was boiling. Within a second, both had exchanged blows at least 100 times. Using his 8 arms and weapons, Demon King Chen Yu attacked in a frenzy with incredible power. However, Jian Wushuang had managed to parry all the attacks without fail using sword principle Shen Luo. He was unharmed. When I last fought this brat, he was battered and exhausted. This time, he was able to hold his ground well. Demon King Chen Yu thought coldly. A vicious aura then erupted and swept out in all directions. A ray of blood-red light burst forth from his third eye between his eyebrows. This light was excellent, glaring, and fast. At such a short distance, its sudden appearance did not allow Jian Wushuang to have any time to defend against it. Fart! The blood-red light penetrated his body and went straight for his soul. Ha ha, soul attack. It would probably threaten or kill me if it was cast back in the Three Emperors world. But now, Jian Wushuang laughed in disdain. He was different from when he was still in the Three Emperors world. Ever since he had refined the soul-swallowing pearl, the strength of Jian Wushuang's soul had improved significantly. His soul was no longer his weakness. It had become his advantage instead. The power of the blood-red light was reduced when it passed through the 5-gem armor. The remaining power was diminished by over 90% before it finally broke through all the defenses and crashed into his soul. There was a slight jerk in his consciousness before it returned to normal. Just by looking at him, he seemed to be unaffected. Die! Demon King Chen charged after the blood-red light shot out of the eye on his forehead. The power of the 8 divine weapons were fully utilized, and the most terrifying among them was a blood-red slash. The powerful attack had Jian Wushuang completely surrounded. Demon King Chen Yu thought that even if Jian Wushuang were able to block the attacks, he could not do so as there would be a blank in his consciousness after the soul attack. In reality, the unique sword essence swept over Jian Wushuang as he cast mixed element spirit, a move from sword principle Shen Luo. He managed to block the attacks easily. The powerful force barely managed to force him to take a few steps back. He blocked it. Demon King Chen Yu was surprised. Jian Wushuang regained his balance and smirked. Demon King Chen Yu, that move was decent. It is a pity that you cannot harm me. Now, try this. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold as the sword essence he radiated changed. The essence before was unrestricted and felt like it could devour everything. At that instant, it felt like it had become the supreme power in this world. A will of the emperor that surpassed even that of the ninth heaven swept out in all directions. Jian Wushuang held the Blood Mountain sword with 4 of his arms. A huge amount of divine power and bloodline power was transfused into the sword steadily. He grew in size. At that moment, it was as though Jian Wushuang had morphed into a supreme emperor, and the sword that he was holding high was the emperor's sword. King Sword Principle. It was the most powerful secret skill that Jian Wushuang had. However, King Sword Principle was a purely offensive skill. Furthermore, it needed time to channel. This was a skill used only when people wanted to use their ultimate skill head-on. On the other hand, Sword Principle Xian Luo was a skill best used in close-quarter battles. Jian Wushuang could only cast the first move of the King Sword Principle for a long time. Even so, the power was still incredible. Now, after half a month of meditating within the Heaven Repairing Palace, there was a leap in his understanding of sword doctrine and sword skills. This allowed him to cast the second move in the King Sword Principle. The move that Jian Wushuang had cast was the second move in King Sword Principle. Die! Jian Wushuang yelled as he slashed his sword downwards. The power had already accumulated to the maximum. This slash split the sky. The entire space was split into 2 right away. Wherever the sword slash passed, it erased everything. Wowlala! The powerful slash appeared in front of the Demon King Chen Yu. His iris constricted when he saw this move. He knew that just based on power alone, this attack without a doubt had already reached the power level of a stage 3 great emperor. This brat! Demon King Chen Yu swung the arm which was holding the large black bat ferociously. Boom! A mighty shadow of a black bat appeared in the space and crashed into the slash. Chapter 21-24 The Final Hope Bang. A deafening bang reverberated in the air. When the 2 attacks met, the space around cracked as though it was made of paper. After the clash, Jian Wushuang backed off immediately. As for Demon King Chen Yu, he too took 3 steps back. After the 3 heavy steps, Demon King Chen Yu raised his head and looked at the Demon King Chen Yu and frowned. This brat managed to force me to back off? Even though he had the upper hand in this clash, it was very small. Most importantly, the sword light forced him back. This meant that Jian Wushuang had the power to threaten him. Demon King Chen Yu, that is your maximum power? Jian Wushuang stood in the air as he smiled at Demon King Chen Yu coldly. Rage filled his heart before he had his temper back in control. This brat has an extraordinary power level. It is almost impossible for me to kill him alone. My target this time is the Heaven Repairing Palace. There is no need for me to waste my time on him, Demon King Chen Yu thought. He moved after he made up his mind. This time, he did not move towards Jian Wushuang. His target was the Heaven Repairing Palace. Jian Wushuang frowned when he saw this. Take this, Demon King Chen Yu. Jian Wushuang roared as his deep voice reverberated through the battlefield. Dark jade light burst forth from the 9 ancient god stars on top of his forehead as the divine power around him boiled. Ancient god secret skills, moon-picking skill. Heaven and earth shook as the space around Demon King Chen Yu started to constrict. As for Jian Wushuang's current power level, the moon-picking skill could restrain even people like Demon King Chen Yu to a great extent. This secret skill, Demon King Chen Yu was surprised. A large, soft hand started to float towards him, as though a mother was about to touch her baby. This large hand made Demon King Chen Yu cautious as he sensed danger. Based on its power, it was even stronger than the sword skill that Jian Wushuang had cast. Even though Jian Wushuang is not a stage 3 great emperor, he still has many tricks up his sleeves, Demon King Chen Yu thought as he turned even more ferocious. Wowlala! Monstrous clouds of demonic mist filled the sky instantly. Scram! The space-time which constrained him exploded with a roar as he swung the blade he held in one of his hands. A mirage of a colossal blade appeared and descended upon everyone. It tore everything in its way apart. It instantly ripped the hand apart. Jian Wushuang's offense disintegrated instantly. His purpose was not to injure Demon King Chen Yu, but to halt him for a brief moment when the Demon King was parrying the attack. At that instant, Jian Wushuang dashed in front of Demon King Chen Yu. Demon King Chen Yu, let us have a rematch. Jian Wushuang mocked. A unique sword essence could be felt radiating from him as he managed to cut off the Demon King. As for his current power level and sword principal Shen Luo, he had no problem stopping Demon King Chen Yu. Jian Wushuang managed to block the fury of attacks by the angry Demon King Chen Yu, stopping him from getting closer to the heaven-repairing palace. Damn it! Demon King Chen Yu's blood boiled as he yelled at everyone who was around him. What are all of you doing? Go and destroy the heaven-repairing palace and kill everyone around here. Upon hearing this, the experts from Akron Palace attacked. This time, Akron Palace not only sent a Stage 3 Great Emperor, Demon King Chen Yu, but almost every single expert they had. There were 6 Great Emperors. These 6 Great Emperors simply kept Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor occupied. In reality, not all 6 Great Emperors needed to be there to get the job done. Hence, 3 Great Emperors broke away and headed towards the heaven-repairing palace. Oh no! The Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor turned pale. However, they could not do anything to stop them. Jian Wushuang, who was fighting Demon King Chen Yu, was aware of the situation around the battlefield. He grunted as he pulled out an old mirror. He used his divine power and summoned 5 figures with powerful auras from the mirror. 5 war spirits, stop them. Jian Wushuang ordered the war spirits. The 5 war spirits dashed towards the Great Emperors immediately and used all their might. The 5 war spirits were like 5 Great Emperors. They stopped the 3 Great Emperors immediately. Nice one, Sword Emperor. Never would I have thought that the Sword Emperor would have such an amazing treasure. The Abysmal Saint Master, East Royal Emperor and everyone else heaved a sigh of relief. It was already amazing that Jian Wushuang could possess such a treasure which allowed him to have 5 Great Emperors as helpers. However, Jian Wushuang's face was still solemn, even though the 3 Great Emperors had stopped. 5 war spirits from the 5 Fire Godly Spirit Mirror indeed have the fighting power of a Stage 1 Great Emperor and can stop the few Great Emperors. However, there are many Emperor gods this time, Jian Wushuang muttered to himself. Indeed, there were around 20 Emperor gods apart from the 7 Great Emperors led by Demon King Chen Yu. Among these Emperor gods, there were 8 who were top-tier Emperor gods. The remaining were also very close to that power level. On the side of the Sanctuary Alliance were little experts on guard. The quality of these experts were also not good compared to the Akron Palace. At the start, they could barely stop the invaders. Now, they were completely oppressed. Many of the Emperor gods from Akron Palace had freed themselves and started attacking the heaven-repairing palace. These Emperor gods would have posed no problems on a normal day. However, no matter Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master or East Royal Emperor could not free themselves to deal with them. Only one of the war spirits could find the chance to go and stop those Emperor gods. However, that would not be effective as there were too many Emperor gods. Soon, these Emperor gods appeared in front of the heaven-repairing palace and started to attack the palace with all their might. Even though the power level was nothing compared to the Demon King Chen Yu, the heaven-repairing palace was already severely damaged by Demon King Chen Yu and was at the brink of collapsing. Even though the attacks were not very powerful, they could still potentially destroy the palace once and for all. Chapter 21-25 The 2 men who broke through. Boom, boom, boom. Waves of attacks were being cast by the Emperor gods as they crashed heavily on the heaven-repairing palace. After all these attacks, the palace started to shake vigorously. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold. He was facing a choice. The choice of whether to cast his soul attack. Since the start of the battle, Jian Wushuang had not cast his soul attack no matter how his battle went against Demon King Chen Yu. In reality, his soul attack was extremely powerful even without casting any soul attack secret skills or with the help of Soul Swallowing Pearl. His soul attack was powerful enough to threaten a Stage 2 Great Emperor. Now that he had mastered 3 Divine Lights, a soul attack secret skill from the ancient past, his soul attacks would be very powerful and destructive. Even though he could not free himself in his battle with Demon King Chen Yu, soul attacks were very bizarre and could directly affect the Emperor Gods. Once he had cast Soul Attack, it could instantly kill all Emperor Gods who were attacking the Heaven-Repairing Palace. However, once he did this, his trump card would be made clear. Soul-Swallowing Pearl and his Soul Attack were trump cards that he wanted to hide. Emperor Bai also reminded him personally to not use this trump card unless absolutely necessary, as it could be of great use and greatly damage the opponents during the final battle against the Three Emperors world. The element of surprise would be lost if this trump card was revealed early to the Three Emperors world. Hence, Jian Wushuang was hesitant. In this scenario, if I do not use my soul attack to kill these Emperor Gods, Heaven-Repairing Palace might be destroyed. The huge cost that the Sanctuary Alliance incurred would go to waste. Jian Wushuang thought as he made his decision. Looks like I have to use this move. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath. It looked like he was still keeping Demon King Chen Yu occupied and stopped him from having any way to attack. Jian Wushuang was preparing his soul attack secretly. Right when he was about to cast soul attack. Whoosh, whoosh. Two figures, one after another, dashed out from within the palace. At the same time, two overbearing auras filled the entire battlefield. Huh! Jian Wushuang looked at the two figures immediately. One of them was a middle-aged man who wore a green shirt, while the other was a young man with white hair and eyes. Both of them looked around coldly. They were Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling. The auras that radiated from both of them were far more powerful than that of an Emperor God. Especially an Underworld God. His aura was on par with a Stage 2 Great Emperor Abysmal Saint Master. They broke through? Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor too were elated. Indeed, both of them had broken through. They were already at the brim of the Emperor God realm. With the help of Heaven-Repairing Palace, it was almost guaranteed for them to reach the realm of Great Emperor. Both of them wanted to get more opportunities within the Heaven-Repairing Palace, so they were not in a rush to break through. Like Underworld God, he could have broken through on the 5th day in the palace. He did not waste time on breaking through as he knew he could do so even after he left the palace. Instead, he spent the time meditating. Emperor God Tianling could have broken through on the 12th day in the palace. Both of them wanted to benefit more from the palace. However, they felt that the Heaven-Repairing Palace was in danger, and hence both of them made the decision on the spot to break through. Now, they stood in front of everyone as great emperors. Humph, bastards from Akron Palace. Underworld God scanned the battlefield coldly as he fixed his gaze on the Emperor Gods attacking the palace frenziedly. Immediately, boom. It looked like a simple step, but the Underworld God was like a large, demonic beast as he appeared in the middle of these Emperor Gods. Waves of green light engulfed everyone around. Those lights were sharp claws, each with the ability to tear heaven and earth apart. Oh no! When the Emperor Gods reacted, their faces turned pale. They had no time to block the attack. Puffed, puffed, puffed. Terrifying power killed 6 Emperor Gods straight away. After Underworld God attacked, Emperor God Tianling was not too far behind. A black spear appeared out of nowhere from behind one of the great emperors. It had an incredible aura and terrifying destructive power as it targeted the heart. No. The great emperor from Akron Palace was shocked. He was in the middle of a heated battle against one of the war spirits and did not expect a spear to come out of nowhere. This powerful spear had appeared too suddenly. Even though the great emperor tried his best to shift his body to the side to avoid striking the heart, the spear still collided hard with his divine body. Puff! A mouthful of blood came out of his mouth as he turned extremely pale. A top-tier Stage 1 Great Emperor. This great emperor backed off immediately, staring at Emperor God Tianling in the eye as he was severely injured. Emperor God looked at his prey coldly as he continued his attack. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor were relieved. The reactions of the experts from the Akron Palace were quite the opposite. Fear was written all over their faces. Originally, at the Great Emperor level, the lineup had been even as each was preoccupied by another person of similar power level. This was why the Emperor Gods could attack the palace. Now, with the addition of Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling, the balance was broken. Underworld God, who had the power level of a Stage 2 Great Emperor, charged into the lines of Akron Palace and started a massacre. The tides of the battle turned once these two men entered the battle. Now, Sanctuary Alliance had the absolute advantage against both Great Emperors and Emperor Gods. The experts from Akron Palace could no longer threaten the heaven-repairing palace. What was left to do for Jian Wushuang and his friends was for them to try their best and kill the remaining experts from Akron Palace. Chapter 21-26 Desperate Measures Kill them all. East Royal Emperor eyes were bloodshot as he fought a great emperor from Akron Palace with a war spirit. Since all of you dare to come to heaven-repairing palace, you should be prepared to die. The abysmal Saint Master screamed. He turned into a dark beast and fully displayed his Stage 2 Great Emperor fighting power. He managed to suppress two great emperors from Akron Palace. Underworld God killed most of the Emperor Gods and began focusing on his attacks on a great emperor from Akron Palace. The great emperor retreated as the Underworld God used his Stage 2 Great Emperor fighting power. Emperor God Tianling continued to chase the great emperor which he had wounded as he got closer to killing him. The last great emperor was in the worst state as he was being attacked by 4 war spirits. As for Demon King Chen Yu, he was occupied by Jian Wushuang and had no chance to help his other teammates. Damn all of you brats! Demon King Chen Yu's eyes were bloodshot as a terrifying killing intent radiated from him. He was burning with rage as the 8 divine weapons swung around crazily in an attempt to kill Jian Wushuang. However, his efforts were in vain as he could not even harm Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang could stop all his attacks using mixed element spirit from the sword principal Xian Luo alone. Even though he was passive and felt sullen, he did not mind at all. As for the current situation, the Sanctuary Alliance had an advantage. Lord Demon King, I cannot hold on much longer. Lord Demon King, let's retreat. Lord Demon King, many urgent calls came from all around the battlefield as the great emperors from Akron Palace could not hold their ground much longer. It was natural given the large gap in their power levels. Even though each great emperor had the ability to survive the most dire situations, that was only applicable if they were running away. Now, they were obviously at a disadvantage. If they did not run, they were simply awaiting their death. Bastard! Hearing the surrounding voices, Demon King Chen Yu was angered even more. Akron Palace had already failed many times. I have lost face in front of Kaiser Blood and Lord Fen. This time, Akron Palace has already sent almost every expert it had. I even came down personally to take charge. If we were to fail again, my dignity and that of the Akron would cease to exist and we would become a joke in the eyes of Holocaust Sec. This time, we cannot fail. Kill. Continue to kill. If all else fails, cast soul ignition. Demon King Chen Yu roared as his voice blasted out loudly over the battlefield. Hearing this, the experts from Akron Palace were shocked. Under these circumstances, Demon King Chen Yu was still prioritizing his dignity. He asked them to give it their all and cast soul ignition. The experts from Akron Palace were stunned as their faces turned dark. Under normal circumstances, they would be willing to give it their all. But soul ignition? Everyone knew that one would definitely die if they cast soul ignition. All the experts from Akron Palace had taken a very long time to reach where they were right now. Who would die willingly? Most importantly, even if they risked their lives, they still might not be able to turn the tides of this battle, or even kill a few great emperors from Sanctuary Alliance. Furthermore, even if they could kill a few great emperors, or destroy the Akron Palace to disrupt the plans of Sanctuary Alliance, it would cost them 6 great emperors. It was not a worthy trade. If they died this way, there would be no value or meaning in their deaths. Who would be willing to do something like this? Hence, the experts from Akron Palace fell quiet after hearing the roar from Demon King Chen Yu. None of them chose to cast soul ignition. The experts that Akron Palace left in the ancient Mystery Land transmitted a message to Demon King Chen Yu. Lord Demon King, the reinforcements from Sanctuary Alliance arrived at the ancient Mystery Land. There are a total of 6 great emperors and countless almighties. They will reach Heaven Repairing Palace soon. Demon King Chen Yu's face turned dark when he received this message. He was not surprised by this. The ancient Mystery Land was within the eternal chaotic world and was under the control of the Sanctuary Alliance. The experts guarding Heaven Repairing Palace would definitely request reinforcement from Sanctuary Alliance when they were under attack. Sanctuary Alliance would send experts to reinforce immediately. He planned to destroy the Heaven Repairing Palace and kill some experts from Sanctuary Alliance and flee before the reinforcements could arrive. What actually happened was the Heaven Repairing Palace was not destroyed, but the reinforcements were already arriving. He would be salty if he had to leave this way. "Brat, you forced me to do this." Demon King Chen Yu roared as a terrifying demonic mist boiled all around him. At the same time, streaks of blood-red secret restrictions lit up as they covered his whole body. He looked like he was made entirely out of blood. At the same time, the aura he had grew to a whole new level. This is... Jian Wushuang was shocked. He could deduce that Demon King Chen Yu had used another secret skill to boost his power, and not soul ignition. Demon King Chen Yu was risking his life and giving his all. A Stage 3 Great Emperor chose to risk his life. How strong would he be then? Jian Wushuang then experienced it firsthand. Die, die, die. Demon King Chen Yu roared with rage as his 8 arms swung the divine weapons at Jian Wushuang. It approached Jian Wushuang from every possible angle. The speed and power of the attacks had reached a whole new level. Jian Wushuang looked gloomy. Divine power boiled as he cast his sword skills again fearlessly. Boom, 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 boom. Waves of deafening collisions shook the entire battlefield. With each collision, Jian Wushuang grunted. With the sudden growth in power, Jian Wushuang took even more effort to fend off the attacks. After barely fending off these attacks, the aftershock of the attacks still managed to hurt him even though the 5-gem armor had neutralizing effects. Jian Wushuang's current divine body was extremely powerful, yet the aftershocks of Demon King Chen Yu's attack could still harm him. This proved how powerful the attacks were. Chapter 21-27 The Salty Demon King Chen Yu. The terrifying onslaught continued. The fighting power that Demon King Chen Yu displayed shocked Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, and everyone around. They knew they could not even fend off one attack at that level. However, Jian Wushuang could fight the Demon King head-on single-handedly without backing off at all. Demon King Chen Yu could not deal with Jian Wushuang even after he had risked his life and given his all. His face was dark. After many collisions, the aura radiating from Jian Wushuang did not weaken at all. Under the fury of attacks, Jian Wushuang was unharmed. This brat. Demon King Chen Yu gritted his teeth and thought. What he did not know was that Jian Wushuang was actually hurt. After each collision, his divine body would be hurt. However, his divine power would heal the injury instantly. This caused the illusion that Jian Wushuang was completely unhurt. This was how overpowered the perfect chaotic holy body in the 7th step of inverse cultivation was. Demon King Chen Yu could not do much to Jian Wushuang. Furthermore, Chen Yu. Another message came through. This time, Demon King Chen Yu was surprised as the person sending the message was Kaiser Blood. Chen Yu, leave immediately. Emperor Bai is headed your way. Kaiser Blood said urgently. Demon King Chen Yu did not care about the 6 great emperors who were coming to assist. There was no way they could hurt him. However, this was not the case for Emperor Bai. He had fought Emperor Bai head-on before. He clearly knew how powerful and scary that man was. The last time they had fought in the 3 Emperors world, he had some confidence. However, this time they were fighting in the ancient Mystery Land, in the territory of Emperor Bai. His life would be at risk if he was overwhelmed by Emperor Bai and the experts from both the Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance. Even though Demon King Chen Yu was extremely unwilling to retreat, he dared not stay. He took a deep breath and shouted, "Retreat." His voice reverberated across the battlefield. He had originally attacked Jian Wushuang in a frenzy. Now, he backed off quickly. The experts from the other battlefield had long reached their limit. Now they heard the command to retreat, they heaved a sigh of relief and started to retreat. Humph. You do not simply come and go at will. Chase them and kill them all, Jian Wushuang commanded coldly. Whoosh. Jian Wushuang turned into a shooting star and started the chase. Kill. Kill. Kill them all. Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, Emperor God Tianling and East Royal Emperor chased alongside Jian Wushuang. As for the 5 war spirits, Jian Wushuang recalled them to the 5 fire godly spirit mirror. The experts from the 2 different sides started a game of cat and mouse. They flew across the ancient battlefield at amazing speed. Jian Wushuang and his allies had a very strong killing intent as they chased the people running quickly. Within the ancient battlefield, they had no additional consideration as it was under the control of Sanctuary Alliance. The situation was different for the experts from Akron Palace. The 6 great emperors from Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance have already entered the ancient battlefield. I have already messaged the others to see if they will stop the bastards from Akron Palace in time, Abysmal Saint Master said, giving chase. Jian Wushuang's face turned dark. He knew clearly that there had to be a wormhole within the ancient battlefield. There would be no way that the experts from Akron Palace could sneak past the various defenses that Sanctuary Alliance had put in place otherwise. Now these experts from Akron Palace were heading towards the wormhole. They had no idea where the wormhole was, or whether the reinforcements could stop the intruders in time. It doesn't matter how many I can kill, I have to try and kill some of the people from Akron Palace, Jian Wushuang said emotionlessly. All of the bastards from Akron Palace should die. Underworld God roared with great killing intent. His eyes were filled with anger. Underworld God hated Akron Palace greatly. He hated them not just because they were part of the 3 emperors' world. More importantly, they had tried to assassinate him before the eternal chaotic world was aware of the crisis. When he had just broken through and become an emperor god and displayed great potential, Akron Palace judged that there was a high possibility that he would become one of the higher-ups in the Sanctuary Alliance. Hence, they had planned an assassination once they received news that he had broken through. For Underworld God, he barely survived the assassination. More importantly, his master, whom he respected greatly, had died in the process. Underworld God could not forget this grudge even though years had passed. Now he had finally broken through and become a great emperor and faced Akron Palace once again. Kill. Kill them all. Underworld God roared. Emperor God Tianling and East Royal Emperor God at the side wanted to kill the experts from Akron Palace badly. The chase lasted half an hour. During this time, Emperor Bai arrived at the ancient battlefield and was finding his way to get to the experts from Akron Palace. The experts from Akron Palace finally reached the space which hid the formation. The hidden formation was already operating at full force. The camouflage was gone as it appeared in front of everyone. There were 4 emperor gods in black cloaks who Demon King Chen Yu specially left behind to receive him. They were the few who activated the formation. The wormhole was ready and the experts from Akron Palace simply needed to step inside. Faster! Demon King Chen Yu shouted as he and the other 6 great emperors dashed forward at their fastest speed. The distance between the 7 people and the wormhole was shortening. Oh no! The experts from Sanctuary Alliance all had black faces. Jian Wushuang knitted his eyebrows tightly. No matter what, I have to kill some of them. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth. At his forehead were 9 ancient god stars which were radiating jade-black light. 2 of the topmost stars suddenly disintegrated. Jian Wushuang casted Star Destruction skill, and he destroyed 2 ancient god stars. Ancient god secret skill. Moon picking skill. Rumble. Jian Wushuang's bloodline power erupted after using Star Destruction skill. He cast Moon picking skill right away using this powerful energy. The oppressive space-time started to suppress the 7 men who were running away. Chapter 21-28 Double Loss. The complete moon-picking skill was absolutely formidable. The only question Jian Wushuang had was whether the skill could suppress 7 people at the same time, 3rd stage Great Emperor Demon King Chen Yu included. Desperate, he had to crush 2 ancient god stars to increase his bloodline power, amplifying the skill's powers. Wong. Heaven and earth, space and time were all being suppressed. The 7 people, Demon King Chen Yu included, who were about to jump into the wormhole, instantly stopped. What is this? They were all frightened, except Demon King Chen Yu. Die. The experts from the Sanctuary Alliance took this opportunity, while the 7 were being suppressed, to make their way towards them. All of them made their moves in a frenzy. The great emperors who were being suppressed could not block the attacks. Hong, hong, hong. A terrifying roar resonated sequentially, and boundless power was being dispersed. The suppression only lasted for a moment before it disappeared. Run. A great emperor from the Archilon Palace gave a loud roar. They had no intention of getting into an intense fight with the Sanctuary Alliance experts, and all made a run for the wormhole. Shoo, 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 shoo. 4 figures jumped into the wormhole. Finally, it was quiet. The wormhole was already activated. In front of it, Jian Wushuang levitated without a word. It's a pity, a few of them got away, the abysmal Saint Master snorted. There's nothing we can do about it. Those great emperors had impressive skills up their sleeves. Without the Sword Emperor's time-space suppression and constriction, they would all have run away, East Royal Emperor said. Indeed. If a great emperor wanted to escape, it would be extremely difficult to take him down. But with Jian Wushuang's moon-picking skill constricting the heavens, earth, space and time itself, and with such intensity, even a great emperor could not resist. It was also because of that skill that the Archilon Palace suffered its own fair share of losses at the last minute. Regardless, we of Sanctuary Alliance did not suffer too much of a loss this time. On the contrary, this was our victory, Jian Wushuang said. Our victory? The surrounding great emperors looked at each other, all smiles. Even the cold and indifferent Emperor God Tianling had a smile on his face. In front of them were 3 cold corpses floating. From the looks of it, they were all great emperor-level experts from the Archilon Palace. Counting Demon King Chen Yu, there were 7 great emperors. But now, they had taken down 3, all thanks to Jian Wushuang's moon-plucking skill, leaving them vulnerable when they were cut down. The Archilon Palace had poured their resources into this battle with the intention of destroying the Heaven-repairing palace and killing Sanctuary Alliance experts. But in the end, the palace had not been destroyed, and the Sanctuary Alliance had only lost a few Sir Gods and Emperor Gods, but the Archilon Palace had lost all their Emperor Gods, and 3 Great Emperor. This battle was definitely the Sanctuary Alliance's victory. Show, 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 show. Experts from the Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance all started pouring in, along with 6 great emperors and many almighties. Soon after, Emperor Bai came down personally. When those experts saw the 3 corpses, they were all stunned but immensely glad. 3 great emperors. The entire 3 emperors world, along with the Archilon Palace, only had a handful of great emperors. This was definitely a major setback for them. Not only did they fail in their mission, but they had lost so many people as well during the battle. The ancient Mystery Land was always in Sanctuary Alliance's control. We never expected the Archilon Palace to place such a formation without a trace. Emperor Bai waved his hand, and soon the formation the Archilon Palace had left behind started to fall apart. Come, let's go to the Heaven-repairing palace, Emperor Bai said. The Heaven-repairing palace was on the verge of collapsing after the destruction Demon King Chen Yu had caused, but soon it was restored to its previous position. The Emperor Gods were still cultivating within the palace. They were not affected by what had happened outside. Unfortunately, Jian Wushuang, Underworld God, and Emperor God Tianling were no longer able to re-enter the palace. The Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling were fine with that, having already reached their objective of reaching Great Emperor levels, but Jian Wushuang. It's a shame. Give me more time and I could have finished the second scroll of the immortal celestial body. Jian Wushuang had some regrets, but he could do nothing about it. He had to protect the Heaven-repairing palace. Although he had only been inside for half a month, his skills had already improved tremendously. For the immortal celestial body's second scroll, he was certain he could master it. It was simply a matter of time. Jian Wushuang and the others waited outside the palace. Another fortnight passed within the blink of an eye. The Emperor Gods started to exit the palace. I wonder how many managed to become great emperors out of the 9 of them, Jian Wushuang and the other experts waited in anticipation. At this juncture, every extra great emperor would influence the upcoming battle significantly. Soon, all 9 remaining experts walked out of the palace, and the palace returned to its dilapidated facade. Jian Wushuang watched the 9 people closely. After a moment, he beamed. Not bad, even Emperor Bai nodded. The other experts were surprised as well. They all knew that amongst the 9 people, 6 of them were at pinnacle Emperor God level. 3 of them were already at Great Emperor level. Chapter 21-29 5 Great Emperors. The heaven-repairing palace did wonders. The reason why the sanctuary palace had paid such a high price to activate it was to create as many great emperors as possible. They had estimated only 3 great emperors would emerge, for if they were lucky. But now, 3 great emperors came out from the remaining 9 people. Adding Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling would make a total of 5. 12 seats, 5 great emperors. It was way beyond the Sanctuary Alliance's expectations. Amongst the 3 new great emperors was one Jian Wushuang recognized. It was Emperor God Liu Guang. The token for her to enter the palace had been given to her personally by Jian Wushuang. She indeed had not disappointed him, having ascended to great emperor levels herself. Another person who had fought for the seat, Emperor God Juzian, was not so lucky. Or perhaps it was due to his lack of ability. Even though he had managed to secure a seat with his soul attack secret skill 3 divine lights, he was not able to reach great emperor levels within the month. Jian Wushuang took a glance at him, and realized he had accepted that fact relatively calmly. Emperor God Juzian had no regrets, he had tried his best. This trip was not completely futile either. Chen Mingzi did not make it either. Jian Wushuang shook his head. In terms of ability, Chen Mingzi was right after Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling. It was a pity he could not ascend to great emperor levels. Luck is a pretty unpredictable thing after all. The activation of the palace has given us 5 more great emperors, and taken down 3 of Archilon palaces. This has been a great blessing to us. It's only a pity you came out earlier than expected. Emperor Bai looked at Jian Wushuang. The surrounding experts looked at Jian Wushuang, their gazes all conflicted. The experts from the heaven-repairing palace, like Emperor God Liu Guang, looked towards him with gratitude. They all knew Jian Wushuang should have had his abilities improve further in the palace, but had to leave early to resist the Archilon palace experts. It was due to Jian Wushuang that the rest could cultivate for a full month. What's done is done. Jian Wushuang, follow me to Thunderbolt Island, Emperor Bai said. Jian Wushuang nodded. Both of them headed for Thunderbolt Island, while the other experts scattered. In Thunderbolt Island's Great Hall stood Emperor Bai, Jian Wushuang, and Ancestor Tian Chen. Jian Wushuang, although you only trained for half a month, you must have gained a lot, right? Emperor Bai asked casually. Indeed, Jian Wushuang nodded. I have improved tremendously in terms of Dao understanding, and I managed to feel the rules of order. My only regret is not having complete mastering my secret skill, if not I would have 3rd stage fighting powers by now. Of course, even without the palace I should be able to master it on my own. How long will that take? Emperor Bai asked. About a decade, Jian Wushuang replied. He had mastered half of the immortal celestial body's 2nd scroll. 10 years should be enough. A decade? How about 3 years? Can you do it within 3? Emperor Bai asked. 3 years. Jian Wushuang frowned and thought for a while. Normally 3 years would be impossible, but if I had sufficient resources and treasures to supplement me, it may be possible. But may I ask, Emperor Bai, why 3 years? Jian Wushuang had questions. The battle between the eternal chaotic world and 3 emperors' world had not begun yet. What was the rush? Unless, Jian Wushuang looked towards Emperor Bai. Emperor Bai and Ancestor Tian Chen had suspicious smiles on their faces. Ancestor Tian Chen said, Sword Emperor, you should know how prepared we are now. Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance have all made their preparations, and with the 5 extra great emperors we have now, we could fight the enemy straight on to the death if we wanted to. But not them. Jian Wushuang understood. So, both of you want to make the first move? He asked. Indeed, Emperor Bai smiled. Since the eternal chaotic world is ready, there's no need to drag this out. We should strike while the enemy is unprepared. We can no longer be on the passive side. From the Dark Millstone, to what happened at the Special Tribes Alliance, to the Heaven Repairing Palace attack. We have been reacting to their attacks this entire time, but not once were we on the offensive. Even counting the last time you and 3 other experts snuck into 3 Emperor's world to destroy the Supreme Emperor Stone, that too was reactionary. But now it is time for us to make the first move. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang nodded. May I know, Emperor Bai, Ancestor Tian Chen, about your plans? He asked. He knew if they were to tell him this, they would have drawn out a plan by now. We have one plan, and it's quite simple. It'll be the same as the last time. Send a small team of experts to infiltrate and damage the 3 Emperors' world, Emperor Bai said. What? There again? Jian Wushuang's face changed. The 3 Emperors' world was the enemy's base. To send a small team to infiltrate that place would be immensely dangerous. Chapter 2134 Stalling. The last time Jian Wushuang had infiltrated the 3 Emperors' world with a small team was because they had to. The Dark Millstone was operating and they had to stop it. It was out of necessity. But this time, although it would be a surprise attack, there was still a high level of risk involved. Relax, even though the risks are high, we have a more comprehensive plan in our hands, Emperor Bai smiled. Jian Wushuang started listening attentively. Jian Wushuang, the 3 Emperors' world is different now. They used to have enormous formations to protect themselves, and they had spies monitoring our every move within the Sanctuary Alliance. That was why the enemy knew what you all were doing the previous time. But now, with the Supreme Emperor Stone destroyed, the 3 Emperors' world no longer has large protective formations to protect themselves. The spies have all been taken off too. You will be able to infiltrate without a trace, Emperor Bai said. Jian Wushuang squinted and asked, even though that may be true, the 3 Emperors' world on its own is still very strong. If we want to hurt them badly, we need more great emperors, and that will be impossible to hide. That is correct, that is why we need you to hide, Emperor Bai smiled. Me? Jian Wushuang flinched, before coming to his senses. You want me to disguise myself, and let the great emperors hide within my Chaos Divine weapon? The last time the 4 experts had infiltrated into the 3 Emperors' world's core, the Imperial City, Jian Wushuang was only at the early stage Chaotic Realm, with the other great emperors hiding within his Blood Mountain sword. Again, the same move. Jian Wushuang, your Chaos Divine weapon is an outstanding weapon in terms of power and aura concealment abilities. Even I could not tell it was a suppressing type treasure. If our experts were to hide within it, the other experts would not be able to tell. You can still infiltrate the 3 Emperors' world's lair, the Imperial City, easily. Find the best chance and strike. Kill those experts in the shortest time possible. Not just the great emperors, but the emperor gods, sir gods, kill as many as you can. I have discussed it with Tian Chen. If you pick a good time, our team will take down hundreds of almighties within the shortest time, and maybe take down some great emperors if we are lucky, Emperor Bai said solemnly. Jian Wushuang's eyes were gleaming, trying to process everything. After a while, he nodded. Indeed, the Imperial City is the 3 Emperors' world's largest congregation of experts, with plenty of almighties. If I can find a good opportunity, I can make a dent in their forces. But after I'm done, they will naturally send their reinforcements in the shortest time possible. I'll be in danger by then. Don't rush, Emperor Bai waved his hand. That was just step 1. Now, for step 2, that's the most important one. The second step. Jian Wushuang's gaze shifted. A token, prepared for you, Emperor Bai handed it Jian Wushuang. This token was gold from top to bottom, and had an ancient aura to it. Most importantly, it had a boundless space-time power which even Jian Wushuang could not see through. Emperor Bai, this is... Jian Wushuang looked at the golden token curiosity. This is a void token, discovered by our experts in an ancient battlefield a long time ago. From the creation of the Sanctuary Alliance till now, we have only found one, Emperor Bai said. Only one? Jian Wushuang flinched. One could only imagine the rarity of this treasure. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. He was familiar with time-space tunnel tokens. They had them at the eternal chaotic world. But those tokens had restrictions. They could only work within the same holy kingdom. If the other party was in another kingdom, the token would not work. Those tokens were also constricted by space and time. If a certain space-time were to be locked up, the token would not work. But the token Emperor Bai was holding, it ignored space-time locks and distance. No matter how far you were, the token would work. No wonder the Sanctuary Alliance could only find one. Jian Wushuang was certain that the token must have been a rare treasure even in the ancient era. Jian Wushuang, before your team makes their move, I will gather all the experts from both the Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance. Once the 3 Emperors' World reinforcements start to come for you, use the token. Well, all rush through. Emperor Bai said solemnly. Jian Wushuang was taken aback by this plan, but understood completely. Send a small team of experts to forestall the Imperial City and deal as much damage as possible, then use the Void token to bring in the rest of the forces to fight the enemy reinforcements. You intend to wipe them out in one shot? Jian Wushuang asked. Correct, or at least we must damage them severely. We cannot go soft on our sworn enemy. We will make our move once we get the opportunity, Emperor Bai said coldly. Chapter 2131 The Second Scroll, complete. The original plan between Emperor Bai and ancestor Tian Chen had only one step, which was for Jian Wushuang to infiltrate into the Imperial City, use the Void token, and allow all the experts from the eternal chaotic world to come in and destroy the city. But after some thought, Emperor Bai felt wiping out only the experts within the city was not enough. After all, most high-level experts would not stay in the city. From there, Step 2 was formed. I have discussed this plan several times with Tian Chen. It should be possible, and if we want to make our move we should do it while the 3 Emperors' World is not completely prepared. If you need a decade to master the secret skill and reach 3rd stage, I'm afraid they will have been well prepared by then. So, 3 years at most. Emperor Bai looked towards Jian Wushuang. You must complete it within 3 years. If you need resources, just say. The Sanctuary Alliance has spent 6/10 of our resources opening the Heaven Repairing Palace, but the remaining resources are still plentiful. Understood, rest assured, I will master it within 3 years, Jian Wushuang replied. Jian Wushuang was confident. 3 years may not have been a long period of time, but with enough resources, cultivating the immortal celestial body's 2nd scroll would not be difficult. Even if he did not make it in time, he could still head for 3 Emperors' World without 3rd stage Great Emperor fighting power. Good, Emperor Bai nodded. Regarding the list of experts that will follow you, Tian Chen and I have decided on that already. Take a look. Emperor Bai passed the list to Jian Wushuang. He took a look at it. There were 6 more great emperors on it besides him. Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, and Emperor God Tian Ling from the Sanctuary Alliance, King Chen Xing, Black Dragon Emperor, and Lei Yun from the Special Tribes Alliance. 6 great emperors, 3 from each alliance. In terms of ability, Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, King Chen Xing and Black Dragon Emperor were 2nd stage great emperors. Emperor God Tian Ling and Lei Yuan were pinnacle 1st stage great emperors. Add Jian Wushuang himself, and the team became extremely formidable. What do you think? Emperor Bai asked. It'll do, Jian Wushuang nodded, but I want to add another person. Oh. Emperor Bai looked over, surprised. I have a sword servant by the name of Jian Yi. He is from the ancient era, his powers fully restored, with pinnacle 2nd stage fighting powers, Jian Wushuang said. Pinnacle 2nd stage? Emperor Bai and ancestor Tian Chen's eyes gleamed. The current eternal chaotic world only had 2 people with that level of fighting power, Emperor Bai and Jian Wushuang himself. They had never heard of a 3rd person. Sure, bring him along. Just remember the list of people, no need to mention it for now. 3 years from you, before you take off, find them one by one, and don't tell them of your purpose, just in case, Emperor Bai said. Understood. Jian Wushuang soon left. Soon after Jian Wushuang returned to the Green Fire world, ancestor Tian Chen sent people to deliver the resources Jian Wushuang needed. Jian Wushuang himself began to shut himself out. In a secret room, Jian Wushuang sat in the middle of a pool. The water in the pool was emerald in color, with its own fragrance. The water was Eternal Chaotic World's rare emerald heart water, each drop containing pure and billowing divine power. A drop of this was rare in the world, but over here, there was a whole pool of it. Besides that, there were other treasures. Jian Wushuang absorbed the pure power frenzily to cultivate the second scroll. The faster he absorbed, the higher the price. Every day Jian Wushuang cultivated, he used an astronomical figure of resources, enough to dumbfound an almighty. But in those circumstances, the Sanctuary Alliance did not hold back. No matter the price, as long as Jian Wushuang could cultivate in time, it would be worth it. Time passed. 3 years soon flew by. Specifically, it was only 2 years and 9 months. Within the secret room, Jian Wushuang opened his eyes, and along with it a golden light emerged. A black, jade-like complexion covered his body. Immortal Celestial Body's second scroll, complete at last. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists, visibly excited. Instantly, he could feel his divine body changing. The immortal celestial body itself was an extremely powerful skill, with the divine body going through the most change upon completion of the second scroll. Without doubt, the strength of his divine body had risen to a whole new level, his self-defense mechanism now stronger. With such a strong divine body, along with the perfect chaotic holy body he had obtained through inverse cultivation's 7th step, even if he faced a pinnacle 3rd stage expert, he would have no fear. He would not be able to kill Jian Wushuang. Once he truly reached 3rd stage, he would be truly invincible. By then, even a 4th stage Great Emperor could not stop him, and the highest one could go was the 4th stage. Besides his divine body, his divine power had increased significantly as well. This power, slightly stronger than what I expected, Jian Wushuang smiled. He could feel this billowing power. This power was way beyond what a normal Great Emperor could possess. Based on fundamental power itself, Jian Wushuang had already surpassed Great Emperors. This was inverse cultivation's advantage. It was not subject to the constrictions the land had placed. Even Demon King Chen Yu's fundamental powers could only hit pinnacle Great Emperor levels. It was only because of the secret skills he had learnt, along with rules of order, that he reached 3rd stage. Jian Wushuang could not have beaten him previously in terms of power. But now, even without rules of order, based on inverse cultivation's advantage alone, along with the immortal celestial body, he was on par with Demon King Chen Yu, or perhaps even stronger. Chapter 2132 Setting OU Now this is true 3rd stage fighting power, Jian Wushuang smiled. Although he could go head-on against Demon King Chen Yu back at the Heaven Repairing Palace without fear of suppression thanks to his impressive survival abilities, in terms of true power, Jian Wushuang was still slightly lagging behind. Now, Jian Wushuang was almost stronger than Demon King Chen Yu, and did not lose out at all when it came to secret skills. Jian Wushuang was confident he could take Demon King Chen Yu head-on once again, and perhaps even suppress him if he played the right cards. This fighting power was of a true 3rd stage Great Emperor. If I could make some further improvements to reach the 3rd stage, or get the hang of some rules of order, my fighting powers would increase. Jian Wushuang shook his head and laughed. The time I've taken cultivating has simply been too short. I could not ask for more. With the immemorial celestial body's 2nd scroll successfully cultivated, Jian Wushuang was ready to take off. This time, he took Jian Yi. Thunderbolt Island, within the Great Hall, Emperor Bai sat at the top, while Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, King Chen Xing, Black Dragon Emperor, and Lei Yuan stood at the center. These 6 emperors rushed over upon Emperor Bai's transmission. Xiu. A figure appeared within the hall. It was Jian Wushuang. Sword Emperor, Ancient Emperor, Abysmal Saint Master, King Chen Xing and the others all called out. Jian Wushuang nodded and looked towards Emperor Bai. When he refined the immemorial celestial body's 2nd scroll, he made sure Emperor Bai knew, who then summoned the experts. Everyone, I have gathered you all here for a special assignment. I require your collected strength. Are you all willing to join me? Emperor Bai asked the six. Abysmal Saint Master and others looked at each other and all nodded. Seeing this, Emperor Bai continued. The task is extraordinary, so Jian Wushuang will lead it personally. Throughout the mission, you must follow his orders. Is that understood? The six were taken aback but had no objections as it was Jian Wushuang leading them. Needless to say, the three experts from the special tribes followed their leader, Jian Wushuang. The three Sanctuary Alliance members had no objections either, even Emperor God Tianling. Because, regardless of strength or status, no one could beat Jian Wushuang, so of course he should lead them. Seeing the expressions of the six emperors, Jian Wushuang smiled, then solemnly said, for special reasons, I cannot tell you the specific task content for the time being. There is another thing. I'll need to put the six of you in an uncomfortable position. You all may be slightly aggrieved by it. Aggrieved? The six emperors were all surprised, but all were fine except the abysmal Saint Master. He had already guessed what Jian Wushuang had wanted to do because Jian Wushuang had said the same thing to him before entering the imperial city back at the Three Emperors' World. Sure enough, Jian Wushuang spoke. The divine weapon I hold is a suppressive treasure. I will need to suppress all six of you within this divine weapon to facilitate movement. Are you all willing? The expressions of all six people changed, except the abysmal Saint Master. After all, being suppressed meant handing their lives over to another person. I'm okay with that. Abysmal Saint Master was the first that spoke. He had stayed in Jian Wushuang's divine weapon for years previously at the Three Emperors' World. With that experience, he had no fear. King Chen Xing came from the ancient god clan and had pledged allegiance to Jian Wushuang. Naturally, he did not hesitate too much and directly agreed. Haha, it's only for a short period of time, it means nothing. Whatever the ancient emperor commands, I will never refuse, the Black Dragon Emperor smiled. Jian Wushuang had saved her life and clan in the past. She had already developed feelings for Jian Wushuang long before the request. She would never reject Jian Wushuang's request to stay within the divine weapon. 3 of the 6 had agreed. Underworld God and Lei Yuan hesitated for a while but eventually agreed. One person was left, and it was Emperor God Tianling. Emperor God Tianling. No, Great Emperor Tianling, Emperor Bai's voice resonated. I know what your concerns are. Rest assured, Jian Wushuang will not take his personal revenge against you. Abysmal Saint Master was in the same situation as you previously. Emperor God Tianling flinched and took a glance at Abysmal Saint Master. Eventually, he agreed. Like that, all 6 great emperors agreed. Since you all have agreed, please do not resist. Jian Wushuang smiled, as his Blood Mountain sword turned into a huge mountain, and suppressed the 6 great emperors. If it had been under other circumstances, it would not have been easy. These 6 great emperors. It was much easier to do it when they did not resist. Soon all 6 of them were suppressed within Jian Wushuang's Blood Mountain sword. For Jian Yi, he was long within the Blood Mountain sword. Jian Wushuang, take care and do not be reckless. This is a life-and-death situation for the eternal chaotic world, Emperor Bai instructed. Understood, Jian Wushuang nodded and made his way. Within the boundless dark void, the dark millstone the size of a few kingdoms floated there quietly. It had long stopped moving. Within the dark millstone, lie the 3 emperors' world. Jian Wushuang had arrived at the edge of the dark millstone. Before arriving at the dark millstone, Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh. The Supreme Emperor Stone had not been destroyed the previous time I was here. There was such a huge formation then. The Sanctuary Alliance took great measures to send my team of 4 in the 3 Emperors' world. But now, the temporary seals around the Dark Millstone do not stop me from entering without a trace. They encountered several seals along the way, but Jian Wushuang had managed to make his way around it. Soon, he was within 3 Emperors' world territory. Chapter 2133 Revisiting 3 Emperors' World. At the edge of the 3 Emperors' World, Jian Wushuang's figure appeared above the boundless void. As he appeared, his appearance and the aura on him began to change. Within a moment of time, he turned into a cold young man with a sword on his back. His aggressive aura was too strong to not notice. It was as if he would strike anyone down the moment he was not pleased. His aura was at a regular Emperor God's level, meaning to say a middle-stage chaotic realm expert. There were many similar experts in the Three Emperors world. Let's go. Zhen Wushuang went straight for the Three Emperors world's core, the Imperial City. With his previous experience, he was able to navigate the way there easily. After some time, Zhen Wushuang arrived at the void near the Imperial City. Zhen Wushuang stood in the void and looked over the huge city. The last time Zhen Wushuang had been there, the Supreme Emperor Stone had already been destroyed, leading to the collapse of the Imperial City's formation. But it seemed that the formation had been reactivated. Looks like the Three Emperors world has found another power source, Zhen Wushuang mumbled but was not surprised. A formation only the size of a city did not require too much power. It was not hard for the Three Emperors world to reactivate it. But the dark millstone outside was too gigantic. With the Supreme Emperor Stone destroyed, they could not find an alternative power source, which kept it from reactivating. Zhen Wushuang took a deep breath and headed towards the Imperial City gates. The gate was heavily guarded, as usual. During his way in, Zhen Wushuang felt a concealed aura. The aura could not have been sensed by normal experts, but Zhen Wushuang could feel it clearly. It was a great emperor. A great emperor seeing to the guarding of a city gate personally? Zhen Wushuang smiled. Obviously, after the previous incident, the Three Emperors world had increased their level of vigilance. Zhen Wushuang was immediately stopped at the gate, and a silver-haired elder appeared in front of him. "Do you intend to enter the Imperial City?" he asked Zhen Wushuang. "Indeed," Zhen Wushuang nodded. "May I get your name, as well as which family or domain you come from?" the silver-haired elder asked. Zhen Wushuang frowned, and said, "My name is Duan Lingfeng. I have no family, and I've always acted alone. I'm from the Dragon Heart God Mansion." The Dragon Heart God Mansion was one of 48 God Mansions the Three Emperors world controlled. Zhen Wushuang himself had never traveled to that place. "Duan Lingfeng? Dragon Heart God Mansion," the silver-haired elder nodded. "Please give me a moment to confirm this." "Confirm?" Zhen Wushuang felt something was amiss. Unexpectedly, the silver-haired elder raised his head and said, "Sir, I have just talked to the ruler of the Dragon Heart God Mansion owner. He has not heard of a middle-stage chaotic realm expert by the name of Duan Lingfeng. What nonsense is this? The Three Emperors world is so large with countless experts. I myself rarely show my face outside, of course, I would be unrecognized by others. You mean I cannot enter the Imperial City because of this?" Zhen Wushuang was angered. "My apologies, but the Sanctuary Alliance has already given their orders. Any lone experts that we are unable to properly identify are all barred from entering the Imperial City. You'll need an expert from the high ranks of the Sanctuary Alliance to give you the green light," the silver-haired elder said. "Such a hassle, might as well not enter." Zhen Wushuang snorted and turned away. The silver-haired elder watched Zhen Wushuang leave emotionlessly. "Duan Lingfeng? A middle-stage chaotic realm expert, unrecognized by anyone, what a freak. Under these circumstances, it's best we don't allow these kinds of people into the Imperial City," the silver-haired elder mumbled to himself. In a void not far from the Imperial City, Zhen Wushuang stopped. His expression was visibly sour. "How could I be rejected at the gates?" Zhen Wushuang mumbled. "It's normal. You entered the Imperial City using the same method as previously, causing them their Supreme Emperor Stone. With that heavy lesson, it's normal for them to take precautions," the suppressed Abysmal Saint Master said from within the Blood Mountain sword. "Our plan was to infiltrate and attack the Three Emperors' world's lair from within. If we can't even get through their gates, how will we succeed?" Underworld God said. Zhen Wushuang had explained the mission to the great emperors on the way. "It is a bit troublesome, but there is a way," Zhen Wushuang said solemnly. "They simply bar unknown experts from entering. If that's the case, I'll create an identity, or simply disguise myself as a Three Emperors world expert." "Disguise? How would you disguise yourself?" Abysmal Saint Master asked. "No rush, let's find the Three Emperors world's intelligence unit first. Without further explanation, he went on his way. The three emperors' world had 12 states, 84 god mansions, and countless domains. Within such a large domain, the influence spheres were similarly complicated, and naturally there would be organizations that sold intelligence. Jian Wushuang soon found a relatively powerful intelligence unit. I need intelligence regarding some chaotic realm experts, those that have disappeared or fallen, the more ancient the better, Jian Wushuang instructed. Please wait. The personnel immediately started organizing their information. Within the Blood Mountain Sword, the 7 great emperors, Jian Yi included, looked at each other. They understood what Jian Wushuang was trying to do. He was about to disguise himself as a 3 emperors world expert that had vanished for years. Those kinds of experts hid well, to the extent that no one knew if they were still around. It was normal for those kinds of experts to appear once in a while. Within moments, the personnel from the intelligence unit handed Jian Wushuang a detailed list of the chaotic realm experts. Jian Wushuang began analyzing the list. There were 10 people on the list, all of whom had vanished. The youngest missing case was 160,000 years ago, whereas the oldest missing case had happened 8 million years ago. It was almost certain that he had fallen. Chapter 2134 Old Monster Hong Chen. These people. Jian Wushuang took a close look at every expert's details on the list, but finally, his eyes fixated on one person. This person was named Hong Chen, also known as Old Monster Hong Chen, Old Demon Hong Chen, and he had vanished over 1 million years ago without a trace. The information indicated that due to Old Monster Hong Chen's inward nature, he had made no friends. He was quite the willful devil as well. It was because of that he found himself chased down by a family he had offended 1 million years ago but escaped from, badly hurt. He was not heard of since. This old monster Hong Chen has disappeared for over 1 million years. He has most likely fallen. Maybe he's still alive, but still too afraid to show his face against so many enemies he had made. No matter, his identity will be useful to me, Jian Wushuang smiled. He chose Old Monster Hong Chen out of 10 vanished experts for 2 reasons. He had no friends, making him unrecognizable, and his willful personality would make things easier for Jian Wushuang. Him it is. With that settled, Jian Wushuang's appearance started to change. Once a cold youngster with a sword on his back, Jian Wushuang had now changed to a red-robed, red-haired fierce elder. It was based off what the information had suggested regarding Old Monster Hong Chen's appearance. With abilities at such a high level, it was too easy for Jian Wushuang to transform. Not only his appearance, but even Jian Wushuang's aura transformed into an evil, eerie one. The impression he gave others was undoubted of a devil. With how I look right now, if I call myself Old Monster Hong Chen, unless someone is extremely close with him, no one will doubt my disguise. Furthermore, this Old Monster Hong Chen had no friends. Who could identify me? Of course, I still need to make some preparations before I enter the Imperial City. Jian Wushuang snorted and made his way towards the Imperial City. Several days later, in a normal domain within the 3 Emperors' world, a remote mountain range could be spotted within a dense, eerie forest. Shio, 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 shio. 4 figures appeared in the void above the mountain range simultaneously. This is it, guys. A purple-robed woman looked downwards at the mountain range. Ling Shi, you're sure a mountain dwelling lies within this range? A sturdy man asked while frowning. I'm sure, the purple-robed woman replied. The mountain dwelling was discovered by accident 3 days ago. I did not notice it at first, but at that moment a boundless aura came from within the dwelling. The aura must have come from a treasure, which led me to the dwelling. I wanted to search for it on my own, but I was stopped by a battle puppet. That puppet was strong, even though his methods were ordinary. I don't know what he did, but his strength and speed were at early-stage chaotic realm levels. I was not his opponent, that's why I found you all. A treasure's aura, with a strong puppet to guard it. Undoubtedly, the mountain dwelling had something. Let's approach it quietly. Ling Shi, you lead the way. The 4 went on their way. Soon they had entered the mountain dwelling and found the puppet which the purple-robed woman had mentioned. The 4 of them had already reached pinnacle chaotic real god. Collaborating and using all their might, they finally surpassed the puppet and continued making their way towards the mountain dwelling. They did not know that a red-robed, red-haired elder was waiting for them. They have arrived. Jian Wushuang smiled and continued pretending to be in meditation. Before long, the four real gods reached the deepest part of the mountain dwelling. When they reached, they did not find any treasure. Instead, they found the red-haired elder. Before they could react, the red-haired elder opened his eyes. A terrifying aura was instantly let out from within the mountain dwelling. The gall of you all to barge into my place of seclusion. Die. The red-haired elder made his move. Crap. Make a run for it. The four real gods were flustered. It was then that they realized the mountain dwelling was no expert's remnant, but a chaotic realm expert's place of meditation and seclusion. They had offended the other party, and now he wanted them all dead. Hong. 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 The red-haired elder made several moves and instantly killed 3 people. Only the purple-robed woman managed to escape. Of course, Jian Wushuang had intentionally let her go. After the purple-robed female had left, the word spread as expected. Old monster Hong Chen, a name last heard 1,000,000 years ago, had reappeared. This was what Jian Wushuang had wanted. He had intentionally lured the 4 people in and let the woman escape, all for old monster Hong Chen's name to be mentioned all over 3 emperors' world once again. But this was not enough. Soon after old monster Hong Chen's name started going around, Jian Wushuang arrived at a huge family. This family was the famous Dan clan within the 3 emperors' world. The Dan clan had many experts, with reported 7 chaotic realm experts and 1 middle-stage chaotic realm elder. This Dan clan had also chased down old monster Hong Chen over 1,000,000 years ago, forcing him into seclusion. Looking at the huge family, Jian Wushuang laughed. A loud roar resonated through the heavens. You Dan rats, you chased me down 1,000,000 years ago, forcing me out. Today, I have come for my revenge. Everyone in Dan clan, die. Chapter 2135 Shocking the 3 Emperors World Dan clan was exterminated. Even though the chaotic realm experts had managed to rush back from the imperial city in time, it did not change the fact that they were exterminated. Over 90% of the experts from the Dan clan were killed. Only the lucky few escaped. The Dan clan disappeared within moments. The one who had caused this was the old monster Hong Chen, who had disappeared over 1,000,000 years ago. This news spread like wildfire across the entire 3 Emperors world. Many of the experts and clans were surprised and were all commenting on the incident. Old monster Hong Chen is alive after all these years. Not only is he alive, he has become even stronger. He must have encountered great opportunities during the time he was gone and become a top-tier middle-stage chaotic realm. This old monster is still so fierce and heartless. The first thing he does when he comes to light is to exterminate a clan. He is not even affected after killing so many cultivators. He is called Old Monster Hong Chen for a reason. He was never a kind man. Back then, it was the Dan clan that caused him to almost die. Now that he has finally recovered some power, what is stopping him from taking revenge? Many of the experts in the 3 Emperors world were talking about this incident. No one doubted his true identity, no matter what their opinions on the matter were. There was nothing to be suspicious of. Everyone believed that the one who had exterminated the Dan clan was old monster Hong Chen, who had disappeared 1,000,000 years ago. However, within a city somewhere in the 3 Emperors world, an elderly man in red clothes was in disbelief when he got news of this. Who is impersonating me? This elderly man in red clothes was the real old monster Hong Chen. He had been hiding his true identity all this time as he was afraid of the Dan clan. Now, Dan clan had been exterminated. Most importantly, he was the one who had exterminated it. He was still an early-stage chaotic realm expert. How could he exterminate the Dan clan alone? Without a doubt, there was someone using his identity. Why did he impersonate me? What is his goal? Old monster Hong Chen muttered to himself. He then shook his head and continued, "It does not matter. He helped me exterminate Dan clan and avenged me. I shall let him use my name to do whatever he wants." Old monster Hong Chen did not plan on exposing Jian Wushuang. Even though the Dan clan had been exterminated, he would never use the identity of Old monster Hong Chen ever again. Old monster Hong Chen's name had become well known in the Three Emperors world after the Dan clan was exterminated. Jian Wushuang had achieved his goal. Now I can enter the imperial city confidently. Jian Wushuang smiled as he headed toward the entrance of Imperial City. At the gate of Imperial City, it was guarded tightly. The elder in grey clothes who had stopped Jian Wushuang from entering was still standing there. An extremely evil and gloomy aura could be felt from the space far away. This aura was flamboyant. Even though the person was still far away, the elderly man in grey clothes noticed it. What an evil aura! Who is that? The elderly man in grey clothes knitted his eyebrows. Soon, the owner of the aura appeared at the entrance and revealed his face. It was an elderly man with red hair and clothes. It has been so long since I was last here. The imperial city feels different. Jian Wushuang muttered to himself casually. May I know who you are? The elderly man in grey clothes asked Jian Wushuang. I am Ancestor Hong Chen. Jian Wushuang replied. Ancestor Hong Chen? The elderly man in grey clothes turned pale. The actions of this devil were widespread across the Three Emperors world. According to some, this devilish man had been meditating in a secluded cave until some real gods chanced upon his cave and woke him up. He had then immediately exterminated the Dan clan, which caused quite a commotion. Now, he was here at the Imperial Palace. Oh. So why are you here at the Imperial Palace? The elder man in grey clothes asked. I have reached the peak of middle stage chaotic realm. I am very close to peak chaotic realm. Why do you think I am here? Jian Wushuang smirked. You are here to use the resources within the Imperial Palace to break through to peak chaotic realm. The elder man in grey clothes understood his intentions and was not suspicious at all. Hey old fool, are you going to let me through? Jian Wushuang said impatiently. The elder man in grey clothes knitted his eyebrows. Even though old monster Hong Chen was infamously known to be Adavil, he still had the right to enter the Imperial Palace as long as he was an almighty. You can enter. I have to remind you to control your temper and not break any rules inside the palace. Even though you can exterminate the Dan clan alone, there are still many experts within the palace who can kill you easily. The elder man in grey clothes said. I do not need someone like you to remind me of these things. Scram and stop blocking my way, Jian Wushuang roared as he headed into the palace. The elder man in grey clothes knitted his eyebrows lightly but did not stop him. It took some effort, but I finally made it in. Jian Wushuang smiled as he looked around within the Imperial Palace. Since he had made it into the Imperial Palace, what followed would be much more simple. This is Emperor Summit. The protecting formation is gone. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up when he saw the magnificent summit in the distance. The Imperial Cabinet was located at the top of that summit. He remembered he had only managed to successfully enter the Emperor Summit after winning the qualification battle. Now, the Emperor Summit was completely open to the public. Beside the Emperor Summit, there were 3 large statues which stood tall and proud. There had originally been a golden vortex in the middle of the 3 statues. Now that the Supreme Emperor Stone was destroyed, the vortex had disappeared too. Many people were meditating in front of the 3 statues. Within a bar inside the Imperial Palace, Jian Wushuang sat there drinking wine. He was also listening in to the people around talking about the changes to the Imperial Palace. According to what the waiter was saying, the changes to Imperial City had happened about 10 years ago. Someone had ventured into the Emperor Summit and destroyed the sacred stone, Supreme Emperor Stone. The people in the Three Emperors world called the man who had destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone the Devil. Chapter 21:36 Baited Devil. Jian Wushuang touched his nose as he looked at the people talking weirdly. He knew that he was devil the experts from the Three Emperors world were talking about. Ever since he had destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone, the security within the Imperial Palace had been much tighter and the rules much more stringent. Furthermore, There were more experts on standby within the imperial palace to prepare for the upcoming battle. This meant that there would be far more experts within the palace compared to before. If there are more experts in the palace, this means that we can kill more when we ambush them. The three emperors' world will face a greater loss, Zhen Wushuang thought coldly. Everyone get ready. We are about to execute our plan. Zhen Wushuang messaged the other 7 great emperors. Finally. Haha, I can't wait anymore. The 7 great emperors inside the Blood Mountain Sword were all excited. They had anticipated this since they knew what the mission was about. Now, they were finally going to start the mission for real. Throughout the journey, Zhen Wushuang had also communicated with Emperor Bai and asked him about his preparations. Ever since the Supreme Emperor Stone had been destroyed and the formation surrounding the Dark Millstone had collapsed, the spacetime was no longer restricted and Zhen Wushuang could transmit messages with the outside world easily. After receiving Zhen Wushuang's message, Emperor Bai gathered the experts from Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance. Everything was prepared quickly and everyone was ready to go. After taking a deep breath, Zhen Wushuang moved. He flew towards the 3 statues. Since they were going to ambush, they should ambush a place where there would be a large number of people. At the foot of the 3 emperors' world, that was where the highest number of experts gathered. Thousands of experts in the realm of Chaotic Realm who were sat in front of the statues were meditating. They were densely packed in that small space. Sword Emperor, even though there are many almighties here, there are no great emperors. It would be better if we attracted a few great emperors here. Abysmal Saint Master said. Yes, I understand. Zhen Wushuang nodded his head while he looked at the imperial cabinet. There were 3 great emperors around the golden vortex guarding the Supreme Emperor Stone when it was still here. After the stone was destroyed, there was no need for a great emperor to be on guard anymore. Hence, most of the great emperors within the 3 emperors' world stay within the emperor cabinet. It would not be a wise choice if they decided to ambush the emperor cabinet directly, as there were many great emperors residing within it. The best way was to attract the attention of a few great emperors and fight them beside the 3 large statues. Just then, 2 figures were flying towards the space Zhen Wushuang was in. One was a handsome prince, the other was a teenage girl in green clothes. Coincidentally, Zhen Wushuang had met them before. Huh? Ling Tianhao? Zhen Wushuang raised his eyebrows. Ling Tianhao and him had had a grudge when he'd first come to the imperial palace. Back then, Zhen Wushuang had masked his identity by pretending to be a rude, overpowering man show. Now he was here for the second time, they met again. Haha. What a coincidence. Zhen Wushuang laughed. He thought for a moment. I have an idea. Zhen Wushuang fixed his gaze on Ling Tianhao as he flew towards him. Ling Tianhao and the teenage girl in green clothes planned to meditate in front of the 3 statues. A figure which radiated gloom and death appeared in front of them. What a powerful aura! Ling Tianhao was shocked. The person radiating this aura is at least a person in middle stage chaotic realm. The teenage girl in green clothes panicked. The 2 people quickly calmed down and greeted the man humbly. Is there a problem, sir? Humph. Are you Ling Tianhao? Zhen Wushuang asked coldly. Yes, I am. Ling Tianhao replied, curious as to why the unknown man had asked him this. If that is the case, die. Your family and the Dan family tried to kill me. This is revenge. Zhen Wushuang attacked. Oh no. Ling Tianhao and the teenage girl in green clothes were caught by surprise. The experts meditating in front of the statues were alarmed as they looked over in surprise. They were surprised by his courage, not his power. He had dared to attack within the imperial palace right in front of the 3 statues. He was neglecting the imperial cabinet and the rules within the palace. The moment Zhen Wushuang attacked. Boom, 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 boom. Many powerful auras erupted as 6 figures appeared. They were the 6 deacons in the middle stage chaotic realm. Stop. You have courage, attacking so flagrantly within the imperial palace. You better stop, or you will die. Roars of anger were heard. Hearing these roars, Zhen Wushuang bellowed with laughter, ha ha. The few of you can't stop me, Ancestor Hong Chen. Jian Wushuang's blood-red hand grew in size as a terrifying aura radiated in all directions. The hand managed to force the 6 deacons back. His aura was overbearing. Many people in the crowd were stunned. It's him, Ancestor Hong Chen? The man who single-handedly exterminated the Dan clan is here at the Imperial Palace. No wonder he dared to attack others within the Imperial Palace. He is notorious for his lawlessness. Many of the experts exclaimed. Ha ha! Jian Wushuang continued to chase after Ling Tianhao ferociously. Oh no! The 6 deacons turned pale. They were responsible for maintaining order around the 3 statues. If Ancestor Hong Chen killed Ling Tianhao, they would be severely punished. Right then. Humph! A majestic grunt was heard. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was elated. They took the bait. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,